Marco.
Fuck yeah, you
Marco.
stupid fucking ass. Marco.
Yes. We're back.
Do you like me?
Let's go.
Thumbs up the team.
We are here, y'all.
Yeehaw, it's bull wrangling time.
You're wrong! You're fucking wrong!
Happy Friday to the best cult in the whole wide world. Let's pay some bills. Okay, so tonight, I prefaced this on Wednesday, and you see it from the thumbnail and the title. Tonight we are going to be reacting to a video that has only 100 views. It's only got 100 views in the last, let's see how long it's been up. Almost 2 years, December 2021. So end of 2021 it was put out. And it's now 2023. So this is a video that was posted by Richard Sletcher, the guy who runs this YouTube channel, MLM for CEOs, which is essentially one giant advertisement for his MLM software that allows you to, he'll sell you the software and it will calculate things like compensation plans, commission payouts for an MLM. It's literally like he is selling effectively a scam guide, or rather a, how do I say it? Like a scam system. Anywho, there we go. What's up to everybody that's in the chat? You see this dono goal up here called motion graphics? I know you're thinking, Marco, what does that mean? Marco, what do you mean by that? Well, I'll tell you. What I mean by that is, you guys know that I've been working on a big video since January. A video that I'm probably going to get sued over. And I figured, you know what? It's already been so long since I started teasing this video. Let me just go all out and make it as good as possible. And there are some moments in the video where I wanted to have some like animations up on the screen to show visuals of what I'm talking about, the ever-expanding recruitment scheme, the flow of money, etc. And so I want to hire a motion graphics artist to create these visuals for me. And what do we need?
I gotta get the bag.
Correct. So there you go. That's all I'm going to say. Streamlabs link in the chat. If you want to gift memberships to other goons, if you yourself want to join the cult, that's an option. Patreon is a thing. I have it in the description. Merch, alwaysmarcomerch.com. You can get this anti-pyramid shirt that I'm wearing right now. Alwaysmarcomerch.com. So yeah, appreciate y'all. What up to everybody that's in here? And the person I'm looking to hire, it may or may not be beyond who you see in the chat. It may or may not be that person, but he's selling a tool, bestie, a tool, exactly. And then what else do I have to plug? Thumbs up the stream, obviously that. Let me refresh and see how many of you have actually done it. Yay, 75 people watching, but only 35 likes. Yay, the cult is turning against me. Aside from that, we had the amazing Doug Brooks interview that I put out yesterday. We filmed that back in March in Washington, D.C., and I posted it yesterday, and getting a lot of love on that. Really appreciate the support you guys are showing on that video with Doug. Shout out to Doug. I have a lot of vertical clips coming from that. I go crazy, stupid viral on TikTok. I make the hour-long interview with Doug Brooks, and then I chop it up into like 10 plus vertical clips, and then I post those on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram Reels. And across those 30 posts, a couple of them be blowing up. And then more people come to the YouTube channel, and more people drop bags, and you see it. So, business. Anywho, go watch that, because that video is basically the antithesis of what we're going to be watching tonight. What we're going to watch tonight is basically, we're watching the evil Marco and Doug Brooks, the evil version of that interview. So me and Doug Brooks' interview is all about why MLM is a scam, unfortunately. Sorry to tell you, if you just found out, if you just are new to my channel and you just found out, sorry to break it to you. It is not franchising. It is not direct selling. It is not affiliate marketing. I am sure that this video we're going to watch called, and even the verbiage here is quite interesting, rebuking. It is called Rebuking the top 10 MLM hater comments. Not refuting, but rebuking, which I have only ever heard that word used in a religious context. I rebuke you, Satan. So obviously, and that's quite fitting because it proves my point that MLMs are commercial cults, and the people in them, the people who are loyal to them and subservient to them, worship them as though they were a religion, as though they were God. And the people who are the tops of the MLM companies or the top tool sellers like Eric Worre, they are deified, or rather edified, as they say, but really they are being deified. And it's quite interesting how these words get, mixed around. Deify becomes edify, refute becomes rebuke. Those people are worshipped like gods. So we are going to watch this video, and I'm just going to go ahead and get into it. So thumbs up the stream, and let's go. By the way, tomorrow night, do not miss the stream, because I will be revealing for the first time ever Scott Johnson's real identity. And I don't mean his name. His name is Scott Johnson. I mean his face. We now have a face that we can use for thumbnails going forward so that I don't just have to put Peter Mingles and then the Texas flag to represent Scott. Now we actually will see his face. I have never been more certain that a person is who I think it is than this. I know it's Scott Johnson. I would be willing to play Russian roulette based on whatever. You get what I'm saying. All right, here we go. Appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you, Amelia. Appreciate all the nice comments I see here. Alex, I don't know. You might be the only Gold Star member, bro. All right, let's check it out. Thumbs up the stream one last time. Come on, y'all. Let's do it. Where's the...
Thumbs up the king.
Click like on the video. It's free to do. We're almost at 100 viewers. Yes, Scott Johnson is the guy that was at the Trump rally. But the picture that we saw of the guy at the Trump rally was not actually him. We were wrong. That wasn't him. Here we go. Yay, music.
And Cape. Morning, guys. Welcome to this Net Ready episode. We are broadcasting live from our studio here in Cape Town. I'm Stuart Calder. I'm your host for this session. Welcome. Thank you for choosing to dedicate your time to us.
I have it on 1.25 speed, by the way.
I have an immense pleasure of welcoming my guest, MLM expert and crowd favorite, Mr. Richard Sletcher.
Crowd favorite? What the fuck are you talking about? This video has 100 views.
Crowd goes wild.
No, good to see you. I'm glad that you managed to get a decent haircut from me.
It's about time,
This
right?
whole business of rocking up without a decent haircut, not good.
What I have, Richard, is this, and that's what I got cut, is this little guy that just
It's called
sticks
an
out.
aerial.
It's my aerial.
Yes,
It's
so
my little
that you can
peacock.
connect Wi-Fi wirelessly to what's going on.
Just the nonsense fucking small talk. I love it. Imagine if me and Doug's interview had started out like this. So, Doug, quite the weather we're having.
It's a pleasure because I'm providing for the office. Maybe.
Exactly.
There you go. How's the week been?
That's been awesome. No problems
Yeah,
at all.
good start.
It's good to be back.
Yeah, it's good to be back here. I feel like we were here a couple of days ago.
Yeah, no, it feels like that. Eh? It's like it comes around so fast.
Yeah, no, I mean we
How many episodes have we done so far? Do you know?
over
Too many.
30 episodes,
Really? Hey.
and each one's been an
Too many.
hour long, so we got 30 hours of content.
Also, no, Scott Johnson is not the real estate guy that we saw on Facebook either.
Right here on this industry, and I think it gives a sense of there's a lot to speak about. This is
a lot to
complex.
know, hey?
It's lucrative, but there's a lot to know.
Yeah.
And it's an amazing industry.
Yeah.
And that's what's feeding quite nicely into what we want to speak about. Now, Richard, we are constantly listening to what's going out there globally, what people are saying, the positive reactions, the negative reactions, just a lot of comments that are going out. And we're listening to podcasts, we're reading articles, good and bad. And I think one of the things I wanted us to address in the session, and that's what we're going to get into, is that we want to speak about the 10 MLM hater comments. Okay, so we've gone out and we've found the general top 10 hater comments within the MLM space, and I want to highlight those 10 comments that I've got here.
I like how that it's hater comments too. Like when you try to make a critical point about how something is a scam, you're automatically a hater.
And if I can just go through that list, I'll run through them all, and then just...
Sorry,
right?
please excuse me. I've had this COVID, as you know, almost a year ago. My chest is still not recovered from it. Eh?
Yeah, it's horrible.
So if I'm coughing here, please excuse me, guys.
We will. So let's go through those 10 comments, and I'll highlight them very quickly now, and then let's hop on each one. So we can just address them and just provide some insight for it. So the first one we want to go through, I'm just going to run through them, is MLM businesses rely on recruiting, not selling. That's number one. The MLM model makes it impossible to earn money.
True.
MLM businesses offer worse odds than playing roulette.
True.
Okay. MLM businesses incentivize their reps to buy from them.
True.
MLM businesses need to constantly recruit to replace those who have left or
True.
quit. MLM reps are unpaid sales reps, not business owners.
True.
The seventh one is MLM businesses are unregulated. You have no way of knowing if they are fraud or not.
True.
MLM businesses damage relationships. Number 9, MLM businesses are, by definition, pyramid schemes.
True.
And the final one is MLM businesses operate like cults.
True. All right, everyone. That's the stream. We settled it. Everything he just said is so true, frankly. So true. He said it greatly. Beautiful, actually. Wow. So I cannot wait to see how Richard Sletcher is going to try to argue these. Amazing. Am I too quiet? Let me turn me up then. There you go.
Okay, so those are the top 10 that we've picked and chosen as that frequently comes up. So let's begin by addressing them.
Yeah, let's go for it.
MLM businesses rely on recruiting, not selling.
Look no further than Richard's own video on this channel that we looked at on the previous stream, 4 streams ago when we reacted to Richard Sletcher last week, where he has videos going over the different types of compensation plans, and he also has a video that we reacted to briefly, where he goes over the coffee shop presentation about MLM, and he uses a sort of skeleton blank format template brochure to run through this pretend scenario that he uses with his young mentee here to sort of pitch the MLM. And what you notice in that coffee shop presentation, as well as in those compensation plan videos, is that the structure already is there before you know anything about the product you're selling, the brand identity, the industry that you might be competing with. Doug Brooks said it very, 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 very eloquently in the interview that I dropped yesterday with him. And shout out to Julie Anderson. She commented on the video and said that this was a mic drop moment, which it very much was. Devin, thank you. Mini Inch Winky Fund. Thank you, Devin. So true. Thank you, Devin. Doug Brooks says, MLM is a compensation plan in search of a product. Now, imagine for a moment, I just want you to grasp how ridiculous this is. Imagine for a moment that you went to the bank to try to get a loan to start up a business, right? A small business loan. They would probably ask you to see your business plan. Banks on their websites often have templates for business plans that you can fill out because they want to issue loans to people if their credit is good because they make money on the interest. So they are incentivized, banks are incentivized to provide you with tools, a tool scam, if you will, the tools necessary to help you get to that point so you can flesh out your business plan, present it to them, and see. MLM is almost the opposite thing because you have sort of the structure in place, but no actual business. Imagine you walked into the bank with the brochure that Richard was showing in his coffee shop presentation video and said, well, here's how it's going to work. You're going to recruit 3 people, and then those 3 people are going to recruit 3 people, and then you'll advance to this rank. And imagine the banker sitting there going, the loan officer sitting there going, okay, so what's the product you're selling? And you just don't have it yet. You go, well, I don't know, but this is a great industry, and we have a great compensation plan, and it's going to be great, and we're going to have a great, enthusiastic, positive culture in the company, and it's going to be great. Do you think that you would get a business loan? Obviously fucking not. So, the first point here, the first hater comment is MLMs incentivize recruiting to make money. Let's see how Richard answers this.
Let's dive in.
Well, look, that is quite prevalent within the...
Sorry, take back everything I said. Danny, you got it. They'd ask me how good my mindset is, and I'd show them all the books I've read, and I'd definitely get the loan. Duh, so true.
Industry, and it's actually illegal. So the law says globally that you should have
Can we call him Dick instead of Richard? Okay, I got you. Okay, here, let's listen.
Well, look, that is quite prevalent within the MLM industry, and it's actually illegal. So the law says globally that you should have 70% of the people who are buying your product should be customers. So in actual fact, the legal, legitimate MLM companies out there are not focused on recruiting. They are actually focused on selling. So if you take an Avon or a Tupperware, those two prime examples of good MLM companies that are out there doing the right thing.
Avon and Tupperware, two MLM companies that are on the verge of bankruptcy because direct selling is not a thing. So Richard's own point works against him here. He uses those examples. Avon, did he say Mary Kay and Tupperware or Avon and Tupperware?
So if you take an Avon or a Tupperware.
Avon and Tupperware. Avon and Tupperware are the two companies he names as good companies because they focus on selling products. Mwah! Such a beautiful, you've revealed my trap card. You've played right into my hands here, Richard, because the fact that both those companies are doing so poorly is proof that direct selling is an obsolete business model. So let's listen.
Those two prime examples of good MLM companies that are out there doing the right thing. When you come into those companies, the first thing you're focused on is how to sell this product, how to present the product, how to have a party, how to go around, how to show the product to people, how to do makeup on them, and then how to get them to purchase from you. And then once you get them to purchase from you once, they teach you how to get those people to do repeat orders.
Sure.
Now, fundamentally, that's how multi-level marketing should be handled. The first step is you've got to learn how to sell the product, because if product is not sold, if customers are not there, you don't have a business.
Right.
So for me, one of the key things, and we tell our clients, is that you have to weight your compensation plan towards direct selling. So a person should be able to make a living, put food on the table and a roof over their heads purely by going out and finding customers. And so you'll see nowadays there's been a couple of landmark court cases, and that's what's led to the authorities putting in rules where you have to have a 70% client base.
Yep.
And if you have that kind of company and you as an individual go out, buy the product and sell it as a profit, that in my book is as close to a micro business as you can possibly get.
Yep.
All right, so let's just address this thing that he's saying right here, because he's making several points. First is the circular argument that, well, pyramid schemes are illegal, and I'm sure he's going to say this later. He says recruiting and making money, and the primary moneymaker is recruiting. That's illegal. Well, this is a ridiculous thing to say, because I just can't wait for the nonsense we're going to get into tonight. This is a ridiculous thing to say, because just because something is illegal doesn't mean it doesn't happen. Drunk driving is illegal, but imagine if a person was pulled over for drunk driving and the officer could see them going like this and nodding off and slurring their words and smelled the alcohol on them, and the driver went, "Your officer, I'm not drunk. Drunk driving is illegal." Do you think that would be a good defense? It's a circular argument. Well, I can't be doing that thing because that is illegal. It's nonsense. It's absolute nonsense. We can't be a pyramid scheme because pyramid schemes are illegal. Well, no, what's a pyramid scheme? Let's talk about it. No, pyramid schemes are illegal. Imagine that. Imagine trying to tell somebody, tell me what a tree is. They said, well, a tree is a tree. Yeah, but can you describe it? It's a tree. And this is the same sort of frustration I feel when I have ever challenged someone to say, name me a legitimate MLM. Name me an MLM that operates the right way. Specifically when I said this to the FTC at the conference back in March, of course I got no answer. But what is the answer? What is a legitimate MLM? Oh, well, it's an MLM that sells products and focuses on selling products, and that's where most of the revenue comes from, not from this recruiting and this chain pyramid scheme. Okay, can you name one? Can you name a company that does that? Anyone? FTC? Richard? Anybody? Of course not. So, and then he brings up, the next thing that he brings up is he says that the global law that he's referring to, I don't know what specific law that he's referring to here, but where he's saying that regulators have come in and said that 70% or more, at minimum 70% of the company's revenue has to be from sales and not from some sort of, compensation plan, recruiting bonus, whatever. Well, how do you answer that one, Marco? That one's actually very simple too. The way companies get around this is by simply classifying every person who doesn't yet qualify for the compensation plan as a customer. So the people who join the company that maybe have 0 people under them. Remember, in Richard's own words, in one of the previous videos of his we watched, he says that the average recruit will only ever recruit 1.5 people or 1.25 people, whatever he said, less than 2 people in their entire lifetime in MLM, in one company. So if that's the case, this is what the companies do. They will say, okay, you know, the minimum to be the lowest rank, you know, you have to have 3 people. 3 people under you, let's say, is the minimum, and that gets you to the first rank. You're now a builder, or whatever the rank title is. You know, you're now a dreamer, a level 1, a platinum, whatever it is. So everybody who doesn't quite yet have 3, they will just refer to them as a customer, even though that's misleading, because those people are most likely people who are in search of their 3, they just haven't got their 3 yet. So when you have something like this, it almost guarantees, actually it does guarantee, that you will have on paper a perpetually higher number of customers than you do recruits, because you've got 3 people paying into it and there's 1 guy above them. So on paper, it looks like there's 3 customers for 1 distributor. So it's always going to be a 3-to-1 ratio. And if they want to make it look even better on themselves, they'll make that minimum requirement of recruits for the first level, let's say 5 people or 6 people. In some companies, it's 8 people. So if you have 5, you know, you have to get 5 people before you're considered a distributor with us. Until then, you're just a customer. Okay. Well, doesn't that almost guarantee, or doesn't it guarantee that you're always going to have 5 customers to every 1 distributor? Of course. Never mind the fact that even the people who are on paper classified as distributors are still losing money regardless. This is actually a way that they make the numbers look much, much better than they are. So anyways, let's continue.
You buy the product from somebody at a discount, you sell it to somebody else at a profit, you make the money in between.
By the way, Amelia, Scott, we saw Scott Tex Johnson comment on one of Richard's videos last time, and he said, great points, agreed with everything you said, come on my radio show. So he did do that. Bad Dog Sports says, if an MLM company is based on selling a product, why do you need an upload? Why an upline, I think is what you said. Why is recruiting any part of it? Why can't you just sign up on your own through the MLM company itself and sell products? That is a great question.
I don't know what other better way to describe it than that.
For sure.
So in my opinion, that is companies. If a company says to you that in order to make money, you have to recruit, and that's the only way you can make money from it, that is definitely a pyramid scheme. I would stay away from those completely. If a company says, hey, this is our product is awesome, people want to buy it, this is how you tell them about it, go out and sell it to them, then you have a business. Now, I'll take an example from my past. When we did Acorn Kids, the first thing we taught our people was how to do what we call the color workshop.
Yes.
Where you would get 5 or 6 moms together, and I taught them how to make the sale. So you'd hand out the order forms in the beginning. You'd say to them, listen, while you're going through the demonstration, if you see...
And Paz says, I put 3 of my friends onto the Big Mac. Why am I not a distributor for McDonald's? Because you didn't get 5, Paz. By the way, you guys, I need you to go ahead and get 3 people who get 3 people who get 3 people to thumbs up this video.
Thumbs up the team.
Because it looks like only half of you guys have done it right now. And those, 50% like rate, that's not very good. Let's try to at least keep the numbers in line with Richard's hypothetical legal MLM, where at least 70% of the people have clicked like. We got to have more customers. We got to have more likers than cult members usually it.
Anything you think your kids would like, just mark it down. At the end of it, we'll tote it up, and I'll make sure that you get your stock.
Yeah.
So before we got started, everybody had the order form. We would then demo the products. At the end of the demonstration, there would be a bunch of moms who'd bought some product. And I would personally, if I did a presentation like this with one of our dealers, we'd walk away with between 1,000 and 2,000 rands worth of sales. It's a lot of bubble bath, that, by the way.
Yeah.
So that would give you, that's how you would sell the product. And then there was, let's say, a 25% commission on that. So you do 1,000 rand sales, you get 250 rand in your back pocket. You do that 10 times in a month, 2,500 rand. Now that's not a full-time living, but you only did 10 color workshops.
Yeah.
And if you get better, you're doing 2,000 rand, suddenly that pushes your income up to 4.
Yeah.
You know, so there is absolutely.
That's a terrible deal. Listen to what he's saying. You're doing 10 of these different little party presentations, and if you could sell 1,000, he's saying rand, 1,000 rand, that's the South African currency. Even if you could make $1,000 or 1,000 yen or 1,000 rand or whatever it is of sales, $250 commission is a poo-poo amount of commission. Never mind the amount of time that that's going to be costing you. He's talking about making $2,500 a month. Doing what? Packing up a bunch of products and shit in your car, going and meeting a bunch of moms. By the way, where are you going to find 10 different groups of moms in the span of one single month? And then repeat that next month. Like what he just described is such an impossibility. I doubt he has ever even done it, honestly. And by the way, his example is he's saying, when I would go do the presentations, we would walk away with $1,000 to $2,000 in sales. But he's the owner of the company. He should be the best at selling it. So imagine you're a new distributor. And now imagine there's an ever-expanding downline of distributors. You recruited 3, they recruited 3. Now where are you finding these 10 groups of moms every single month? What he is describing is absolutely a snake eating its own tail, impossible conundrum, what's the word I'm looking for? Paradox, that's the word I'm looking for. It's a conundrum, it's a quagmire, it's a paradox, it's a what's the other word I'm looking for? It defeats itself. What's the word I'm looking for? It's hypocritical. You get what I'm saying. You get what I mean. So it hurts my brain. The nonsense hurts my brain, bro. What up, Panda? What up, Trey Tina? What up, all you guys? Okay. Shout out to the Spider-Man Whopper, by the way.
Ways of creating an income through multi-level marketing if you focus your people on the right things.
Mm-hmm.
If you say to them, hey, you sign up 5, they sign up 5, they sign up 5, boom, you've got a pyramid scheme. And, you know, I would recommend that anybody out there who sees that as the way to make money.
You hear that, Peter? Scott?
Should actually bullet that, take it out of their list. Don't join that company.
Yeah. Well, sure. That, I mean, you do your due diligence, your DD on these.
Yeah, oxymoron. Maria says, do you like me? Wow. Thank you, Maria.
Do you like me?
Thank you, Maria. Yes, I do like you, and I appreciate that. Thank you. Marco's limited mindset is showing. Yeah, my limiting beliefs. Yeah, it's an oxymoron. It's you know, you get me. All right. Jana Miller, great point. These MLMs, the corporate, are selling on Amazon now. Yeah, it's ridiculous. I said in my conference speech that MLMs that sell on Amazon are undercutting their own distributors by using Amazon. If it's direct selling, why are you guys on Amazon?
And, you know, I would recommend that anybody out there who sees that as the way to make money should actually bullet that, take it out of their list. Don't join that company.
Yeah. Well, sure. That, I mean,
Contradiction. That's the word I was looking for. I don't know. My brain isn't working today.
You do your due diligence, your DD on these businesses before joining. And if a business is telling you that the only way to make money is by recruiting people, just stay away.
Yeah. And let's be honest. I mean, there's plenty of traditional businesses.
Yeah, let's be honest, Richard. What the fuck are you gonna say now?
Yeah.
Who are doing things underhanded. That's not unique to the multi-level marketing space. So
Yeah.
there are MLM companies that are saying you must recruit, but that shouldn't be how it works. And so, you know, the haters are saying, oh, the only way you can make money is by recruiting. Well, that is not the truth. If you have a look at an Avon, 90% of their people, I don't know if it's 90%, but
Yeah.
the vast majority of their people are making money selling the product. They build up a customer base, the customers buy from them, they go around with their catalogs, they show the new products, the guys buy.
Just simply not true. I don't even have an analogy to point out any sort of like logical fallacy here. What he's saying is just simply not true. Direct selling is an obsolete business model that accounts for less than 1% of all the retail sales made in North America every single year. Less than 1%. Why on earth would anybody buy using a direct selling model for makeup, for protein powder, for water filters, for anything? Why on earth would they do it? Why would they not just click one button on Amazon, or go to the Walmart across the street, or the Target, or the Superstore, or the, you name it. It's complete nonsense. And it's funny that he brings up Tupperware because, like I said, Tupperware is on the verge of bankruptcy. Go Google Tupperware and click news on the tab on Google. And also, he is playing a little bit of a language game here by saying, well, you know, legitimate MLM, recruiting people isn't the only way to make money. He's saying it in that way because they both know that the truth is the only significant way to make money is by recruiting. So, okay, Richard, I'll concede. The only way is not to recruit people. You could technically make money from just selling the product, but even his own example of a best case scenario of selling the product is an impossibility. You're going to go find a group of moms and you're going to make you're going to make $1,000 in sales to that group of moms. You're going to pocket $250, poo-poo commission. Then you're going to go do that 10 times in a month. Boom, you've made $2,500 in 1 month. Where? Literally where?
And because the Avon products are so epic, the people buy over and over again. The repeat business is this. So I set you up as a customer. Once you understand the brand, once you understand the product, once you like the product, you buy from me over and over.
LOL Panda. Let's be honest. Yeah, anytime.
Over again. So I set up 20, 30, 50, 100 customers who then purchase from me on a regular basis.
Yeah, and it's repeat purchases. It's also upselling on those purchases. And if your customers fall in love with the product and they want to then on-sell the product as well, they form part of your team.
Well, this is a great way to sort of segue into that. If you want to build a team,
Yes.
then the best way to build a team is from customers, because we found that about 10% of your customers would be interested in selling as well. And so what would happen is that 10% now knows the product, they trust the brand, they like the brand. Now they say, hey, how can I get involved in doing this as well? You then sign those people up. They become extremely good salespeople for you.
I missed him saying epic, but now he's saying another thing that completely is untrue, which is that the best people to recruit are your customers, and our studies find that 10% of the customers want to become distributors. This now, in my Doug Brooks interview, he talks about one of the most important things to consider with real legitimate franchising, McDonald's, Burger King, etc., is this idea of cannibalization. If you were the McDonald's Corporation and you were looking for new locations to put a McDonald's franchise, chances are you would not put a McDonald's right next to a McDonald's because it would hurt the potential amount of money that either of those two McDonald's franchisees could make. So in this case, Richard, talking about recruiting your own customers, why on earth would anyone recruit their own customers to be salespeople? A, you've just lost a customer. B, you've just added a competitor, a 2-in-1 L. You've killed two birds with one stone as a means of hurting your own ability to make legitimate sales, which Richard says is what you should be focused on, making legitimate sales. So by recruiting your own customer, they're no longer a customer for you because they're going to get the product with the discount now that they're part of the system. And you're hiring, if they were already a direct sales customer, chances are they live in your city or they live close to you, or they're already somebody you knew, friend, family member, your grandma, whatever. So you're recruiting not only a customer, but a customer that is in the same market as you, so that when they go and become a distributor, they're now selling to the same pool of people you could sell to. I'm re-listening to Robert's book, Ponzinomics. And in Ponzinomics, he talks about how in the 90s, the Direct Selling Association reported to have like 180 million or something, like some huge crazy number like that of direct sellers. And he did the math and he says this would leave 237 people, or a number that was less than 300. I don't know the exact figure. 200 and some people on planet Earth, including babies, the elderly, the homeless, people in parts of the world with no running water or electricity. If there was really this many direct sellers in the world that the DSA claimed there would be a maximum pool of 273 people or 200 and some people for each salesperson, for each distributor. Imagine that. Imagine that. If I started a business right now, chances are I could go sell to all the other 7 point whatever billion people on the planet are out there right now. Because I might have some competition, but nowhere in the world, in no other industry except MLM, and I don't even like to use the word industry because there's nothing industrial going on there. They're not really making anything. They're slapping their label onto already existing, lotions and potions and goop and powder and whatever that you could I could make protein bars today. I could hit up some company that makes protein bars, some generic protein bar, generic water bottle or shampoo or whatever, and have my label put on it and drop ship it. In no other industry do you see this type of cannibalization and competition. And then that's why you end up having this churn rate, which I'm sure they're going to end up talking about at some point here, the churn rate of people leaving over and over and over again. Thumbs up the stream, y'all. 40 of y'all have not clicked like, so thumbs up the thing. Where's the button?
Thanks, Marco.
All right, we'll go with that.
Build a team.
Yes.
Then the best way to build a team is from customers, because we found that about 10% of your customers would be interested in selling as well. And so what would happen is that 10% now.
Where did he say epic?
As well, they form part of your team.
Well, this is a great way to sort of segue into that. If you want to build a team,
Yes.
then the best way to build a team is from customers, because we found that about 10% of your
Where did he say
the
it?
people buy over and over again. The repeat business is there. So I set you up as a customer. Once you understand the brand, once you understand the product, once you like the product, you buy from me over and over again. So I set up 20, 30, 50, 100 customers who then purchase from me on a regular basis.
Yeah, and it's repeat purchases. It's also upselling on those purchases. And if your customers fall in love with the product and they want to then on-sell the product as well, they form part of your team.
Hello, waiting for him to say no cap. He already said haters. He said epic. Soon he's going to say like, yeah, on God, it was bussin', fam.
Well, this is a great way to sort of segue into that. If you want to build
Oh, he said the products were epic. Okay.
a team,
Yes.
then the best way to build a team is from customers, because we found that a brand now knows the product, they trust the brand, they like the brand. Now they say, hey, how can I get involved in doing this as well? You then sign those people up. They become extremely good salespeople for
Yeah.
you, and that's how you build your team.
Yes.
So my thing is always build your team out of customers, don't build your team out of recruiting.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, let's go into the next
So
one. I think
what was the first one? Build your team out of customers, don't build your team out of recruiting.
Yeah,
Build your team out of customers. Don't build your team out of recruits. But you're getting the customers to be part of your team by recruiting them. But the customers are then recruits if you recruit them.
I love that. Okay, let's go into the next
So,
one. I think
what was the first one
So
then?
businesses rely on recruiting, not
Okay,
selling.
so that answers that
Yes.
question, I think.
Yeah,
You answered it, Dick.
thanks for that. Okay, so the next one is the MLM model makes it impossible to earn money.
The fact, Bad Dog Sports says, the fact they have to make this video and the fact that all of these MLMs are consistently defending themselves tells you all you need to know. What other business do you have to defend so vehemently? Exactly. I'll tell you what business I have to defend. The business of you guys clicking like on the stream.
Thumbs up the team.
That's what I have to defend. I'm fighting for my life.
Well, it's back to the same thing.
Yeah,
First of all, you need to teach your people how to sell the product. Well, it's back.
thanks for that. Okay, so the next one is the MLM model makes it impossible to earn money.
Well, it's back to the same thing.
Yeah,
First of all, you need to teach your people how to sell the product. And people come in. Where the problem lies is in the companies say they use this line. All you have to do is. Now, as soon as you use that line, the problem that you create is you create an expectation that you do nothing, you earn money.
But Richard, you yourself gave an equally ridiculous all you have to do is earlier in this video. We're not even 10 minutes into this video yet, and you yourself did that earlier by saying all you have to do is, he might not have used those exact words, but he sure made it sound very simple. All you have to do is go find a group of moms, sell $1,000 worth of product to them, make $250 in commission, recruit 10% of those women, and then do that 10 times in a month, and boom, you've made $2,500.
And that sets the person up out the blocks for failure, because they think, well, all I have to do is sign up 2 people, and they sign up 2 people, and you do 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, boom, buy a Porsche. It's the Porsche calculation.
Yeah.
Let me get in. But the reality is that you can only make money if people are selling. So step number 1, learn to sell the product. Step number 2, sell the product. Make sure that you're making money selling the product. Now we're making money from this. Now, if you're interested, try and convert some of your customers into salespeople and help them do the same thing, because that's where the money comes from. The small money comes from doing your own sales. The big money comes from running teams.
Let's listen to that again. Richard Sletcher, the man who says, the most important thing is about the product, sell, sell, sell. Let's listen to what he just said again.
Product. Make sure that you're making money selling the product. Now, we're making money from this.
Make sure you're making money selling the product. All right, I'm with you.
Now, if you're interested, try and convert some of your customers into salespeople and help them do the same thing, because that's where the money comes from.
Ah! You cannot make this shit up. Oh, so we're making money from selling the product. Things are going great, but I should recruit some of my customers, lose those customers, recruit competitors who are going to hurt my ability to sell even more, because now they're going to start selling to their friends and family, when if they had just stayed a customer, they could have referred me those sales and I would have made those sales. And now he's saying that's where the money comes from. From where? From building a team, from recruiting.
The small money comes from doing your own.
Yeah, exactly. Here we go. Where's the...
Ladies and gentlemen, we got him.
Here we go. Let's listen.
People and help them do the same thing, because that's where the money comes from. The small money comes from doing your own sales. The big money comes from running teams.
Ah! It's over! It's over! Absolutely insane. This, look at the face of this man. This is the face of a man. This is what's going on in his mind right now. If y'all ever seen the movie Get Out, this is what's going on in his mind right now. This is what I see when I see Richard Sletcher, except just the opposite race. His mind, somewhere in there, I believe somewhere in his mind is a Richard Sletcher who knows that what he's saying is bullshit. No, stop, Richard. You just contradicted yourself in the same sentence. You said it's about selling, but then you followed it up by saying the real money comes from recruiting other people who are going to sell. To who? To the new recruits that they sell to. You said it yourself. Recruit 10% of your own customer base. No. In the sunken place, bro. That's the best analogy I have for someone who is brainwashed. These people, if you read Steve Hassan's book, Combating Cult Mind Control or Freedom of Mind, he talks about how people who are indoctrinated into cults have, there's a process where they're unfrozen from their current personality. That personality is broken down. A new cult personality is built up on top of it, and then they refreeze them. That's the term he uses. They refreeze them into the new cult identity. That's why people that you know who join MLMs or join cults adopt this totally new personality, which has been duplicated or downloaded from their upline. You notice people start talking about, people just start talking different. Remember when I did that debate with, what was his name, Alejandro? Yeah, Alejandro Aguilar from PHP. Remember the way he was talking, where he's like, all right, guys, I come from Mexico, and, you know, us Mexican people, you know, we always are doing this and spending money on this, but we never have money for this, right? Okay, guys, well, I was the same way. And he's just talking in this sort of fake guru speak language, and I called him out on it. I said to him, is this really you? If you haven't seen that video, it's this one right here. It's called Debating a Member of PHP. It is absolutely stunning because I've just seen it 1,000 billion, million, millions and billions of times before.
Billions and billions.
And, man, it's really something. It's really something. Let's continue here. Peter yells, fuck yeah, whenever his sunken place self acts up. Yep.
Fuck yeah, you...
All right.
But you can't run a team of people who are just running teams who are running teams who are running teams, because who's buying the product?
Yeah.
The teams. That's literally how it works. Look at his face, man. The face of somebody who knows they're absolutely lying. Actually embarrassing to be this old and just be out here fucking telling bold-faced lies that somebody who's 1/3 your age can easily debunk.
You know, if your network is the only people buying the product, you don't have a business. You have a pyramid.
Right.
So again, peeling back on this thing, it's all about the messaging, creating the right expectation, and B, the training, teaching the guys to sell the product.
All you're doing is saying it in a more conniving, misleading way. Well, no, we're focused on sales and we're not paying people to recruit. The big money just comes from building teams. It reminds me, you guys know the channel JCS Psychology, where he uses like his psychoanalytical abilities to break down the tactics that are used in police interrogations with people who have been who have committed serious crimes. If you don't know this channel, you'll probably like this channel if you like this type of MLM content, because I find there's a big overlap with people who like the MLM content and this. So I'm going to pull up JCS here. There's one video in particular. I've watched all of them. I wonder if it's still up. There's one video in particular. It's not on here anymore. Unfortunately, some of his videos got flagged. But I'll tell you the name of the person. So this person here that I'm showing you is named Alec Manassian. Alec Manassian was somebody who was radicalized into an extremist incel group online, involuntary celibate, men who, despite their best efforts, couldn't get women to sleep with them. I also believe that Alec was on the spectrum. He had some sort of, learning limitation growing up. They talk about that in the police interview. If you can find it online, check that out. Anyways, all this to say, there's one point in the interview where, when being questioned about what he did, if you don't know, this happened in Toronto, in Canada, a few years ago. Alec Manassian rented a moving van and then drove the van down a street where there was a lot of pedestrian foot traffic and murdered a bunch of people by ramming them with his van. And when he is asked about the specifics of what he did and when he was driving the van, you know what he says? He says something that is so bone-chilling and cold and calculated and robotic. He says, he doesn't say he killed them. He says, I changed their life status to a death status. Now, any of us, normal people, would translate that instantly and say, so you killed them, so you murdered them. The way he says it is, I changed their life status to a death status. That reminds me so strongly. That was the first thing that came to my mind when I see Richard here talk about the messaging. It's not about recruiting. We're not making money from recruiting people and 5 who get 5 who get 5. That's a pyramid scheme. But the big money comes from building teams. Okay, so just a different way, a different, more sugar-coated, more duplicitous, deceptive, subterfuge type of way of saying the exact same thing. I changed their life status to a death status. So you killed them. Oh, I changed their life status to a death status. Is it a pyramid scheme? No, pyramid schemes are about recruiting. That's not what we do. Well, what do you do? Well, we build teams. I really hope that you guys at home, when I spoke to Robert Fitzpatrick on the phone recently, he said to me, I told him about my fear of being sued, or not my fear, but my anticipation that I would be sued by this one company. And he said, you could talk to this one guy. He had a case against a pyramid scheme in the early 2000s, and you could call him and talk to him. And he was self-represented, and he won his case. And I said to Robert, I know the guy you're talking about, Robert, and I've talked to him before on the phone. I talked to him in 2021. And the guy that Robert told me about, that we're referring to, I'm not going to say his name, but this gentleman who he was in a pyramid scheme. Rather, his wife was in the pyramid scheme, I believe. Actually, I think they both were. Anyways, it's not important. The pyramid scheme he was involved in ended up costing him his marriage. He lost his wife. He lost all his money. He was sued into oblivion by the company he was exposing, had no money left, and was just an absolute, he was on like a religious crusade to fight this pyramid scheme. You can Google the pyramid scheme. It was called Pigeon King, okay? This happened to farmers in the early 2000s. There was a guy who went around telling all these farmers, I'm going to sell you these two valuable pigeons for, $500, and I want you to raise the pigeons and raise the offspring, and I will come back and buy the offspring from you for double the money or whatever. And of course, it was a huge pyramid scheme that ended up with millions of these pigeons being introduced into the ecosystem. And anyways, a lot of people got scammed, and the guy went to jail. And unfortunately, a lot of the pigeons, the owners of the pigeons had no way of feeding these pigeons or taking care of the huge herd of pigeons that they'd built up. So a lot of the farmers ended up just snapping a bunch of the pigeons' necks to put them out of their misery because they would have died of starvation anyways. Really horrible pyramid scheme because it didn't just involve money. It involved live animals. So anyways, the gentleman who was involved with exposing this, I told Robert, I said, I did speak to that guy 2 years ago, and I got the impression that he was crazy. The way he spoke, and this lines up with other articles I've read about that man, where it's like he'll just break down crying in the middle of a sentence. He can't talk to you about things in order, like chronologically. He can't tell a story in order. He's not on top of his faculties. And Robert said to me on that call, he said, yeah, it drove him crazy. The scope of this scam drove him crazy. And sometimes I feel that I'm going crazy when I look directly into the face of pure nonsense, of pure flim-flam nonsense, lying, scamming, the twisting of language. I didn't kill them. I changed their life status. It's not a pyramid scheme. We're not recruiting. We're building teams. And sometimes I feel like it could drive me crazy watching this shit. Because this is what I do. This is what I do all day, is listen to scammers weave words around in a way that is just, it really is like a game. It's like a taxing game. It's like Tom and Jerry with the brain. If you guys have seen my Gary Kornegay debate, he's a guy who's in Primerica. He's been in it 35 years. During this debate, in the beginning of the conversation, he says, yeah, I've been with this company 33 years, and I've made a fortune off of it. Later in the debate, I say to him about how people make deceptive earnings claims. And you know what he says to me? He says, well, I never claimed that I made money. And I called him out on it. I said, you literally said, you've made a fortune. Those were your words. And what does he say? Oh, well, I didn't mean, fortune. I wouldn't use that as my determining factor for success. Just weaseling out of it. There was another example in that same debate where I tell him how, in my experience, I've never seen anyone who has said, yeah, I joined an MLM when my life was going great. I said to him, people join MLMs when their life is bad, when it's not going good, when things are uncertain, when they're, not using their critical thinking. And you know what he said to me? He goes, well, that's not my case. I wasn't in a vulnerable position. I was just broke as hell. And I said, that is a vulnerable position. Broke as hell? Those are your own words. And you know what he said to me? He said, well, broke is a mindset. These people, I really want you to grasp this. These people live in the sunken place. These people walk among us. They look like us. It could be anyone. It could be everyone. This is why sometimes it drives me crazy, because I'm going to put this video out. I've talked about this already. I saw a woman last month now at a cafe, and she had a book, and I knew it was an Amway, preferred reading materials book, and the water bottle she was drinking from was an Amway product called Perfect Water. And I saw her strike up a conversation with the young girl next to her at the cafe and get her phone number. And I went out into the parking lot and I confronted this woman, and I'm going to be putting out a video where I play the audio from that confrontation and you can see how it went. And she literally does the same thing to me. She says, oh, well, what do you know about the company? I said, I know a lot about the company. It's built on this endless chain recruiting model. It's a pyramid scheme. Do-do-do. She goes, well, you know, it's actually not about recruiting. Think about that. I'm in the parking lot having a conversation with this woman. Why? Because I saw her recruiting. And she says to me, without any hesitation, it's not about recruiting. Ma'am, we're only here because I saw you recruiting. And to anybody else who doesn't know what I know, and this is why I say it, like, it could drive me crazy. Because to anyone else, like, if the police were called for whatever reason and they had to sort out this dispute, what would the police see? The police would see there was this woman here at a cafe reading her book, drinking her water. She strikes up a conversation with the girl next to her. They hit it off. They exchange info. Nothing wrong has happened here. If anything, a good thing has happened here. A new friendship has blossomed. But I saw what it really was. I saw that this girl was almost recruited into a pyramid scheme that could have potentially cost her all of her money, her relationships with her friends, her family, romantic relationships. But would anyone else see it my way? I saw it. I know what it was. But again, I would sound like a crazy person trying to tell the police officer, well, you know, actually, she's in Amway and it's a commercial cult, and what she was doing here was a cold market recruiting approach where she's going to try to befriend this girl, but it's actually a ruse to recruit her. I sound like the crazy one. I am on the back foot because I am trying to appeal to reason, but what I'm saying is so sinister and so over the top, like evil. Who would believe me? So anyways, the point I'm making here is when I spoke to Robert about this, he said, you know, just take care of yourself. Just take care of yourself. And I really do try to. I tune out as best as I can. I go to the gym. I listen to music. I visit my family. I go for a walk. And I do try to decompress. But sometimes I feel the weight of this thing, this scam, multi-level marketing. It is the biggest cult, the biggest scam in human history. And I'm not saying that in an exaggerative way. By every measurable metric, it is the greatest con that has ever existed in human history. It has a victim toll higher than any war, than any scam, than any genocide in human history. And the negative effects of multi-level marketing are quite literally immeasurable. I myself was never in an MLM company. They never got their money. They never got money from me. But I am a victim of MLM. Why? Because my best friend was recruited into an MLM and was brainwashed by them, and now we're no longer friends. That means I lost something because of MLM. I have suffered a loss from MLM. I was never even in it. Think about that. We talk about the 99% loss rate, the amount of money people have spent. What about the other people who were just close to those people, who lost that? What price can you put on that? In my multi-level misery series, you saw people say, I lost $10,000, I lost $50,000, I lost $100,000 pursuing this MLM. But what's the price of them losing their best friend, boyfriend, husband, wife? What's the dollar figure that you attach to that? Anyways, trying to reconcile all of this in my mind. Yeah, Robert's right. It can drive you crazy. It can drive you crazy because you know the truth, or it can drive you crazy to the point that you start saying shit like he is saying here. Again, I'm not a psychologist. I'm not a therapist. I'm not any of that. Sociopath, antisocial personality disorder, sometimes called sociopathy, a mental health condition in which a person consistently shows no regard for right and wrong and ignores the rights and feelings of others. What are the traits of a sociopath? No regard for others' rights or feelings, lack empathy and remorse for wrongdoings, and have the need to exploit and manipulate others for personal gain. Cut back to, it's not a pyramid scheme. We're not getting paid to recruit people, but the big money comes from building teams. In my opinion, this is some species of insanity, of sociopathy or psychopathy. It really is.
You can't reason with insanity. Also, F you Scooter and Pooter.
Marco. Come on, Marco. Fuck 'em.
Thank you, Jana Miller. Anyways, I'm sorry for the rant, but yeah, man. Yeah. I'm reading your guys' comments right now.
Wagwan Og Goons.
Thank you, Milk. I already know who that is. Thank you, Milk. I appreciate that. And Paz says, reminds me of how hospitals refer to patients as accounts. And when they die, they say expired, like food. That's insane. Their account expired. Wow. The account expired. Wow, wow, wow. There's a doc on Pigeon King. Oh, interesting. Have I seen that one? Maybe I have. My mindset's not good, yeah. Usually when people talk like that, you can write them off. The fact that it's legitimized under the law is what makes you feel crazy. That's true. Yeah. And this is legal, too, what we're talking about. She wasn't recruiting. She was networking. I wasn't recruiting. I was building my rapport. Doesn't the military recruit? Your family is a pyramid. There's you, your brother, your sister, then your mom and dad, then your grandpa and your grandma. Yeah, maybe I am crazy. I posted a documentary in the recommendations tab of my Discord. If you're not in there, I'll put the Discord link in the chat right now. About how the entire country of Albania collapsed because of a pyramid scheme. The whole country was involved in a pyramid scheme. Absolutely insane. Yeah. All right, let's continue on. Sorry for my rant. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Because once you can sell the product and you can teach other people to sell the product, then you've got a business. You know, and initially you sell a little.
Yeah.
Then as you get better, you sell more. As you build up your client base, you sell even more. And eventually you sell enough volume to keep a roof over your head and food on the table.
Yeah. I mean, if I compare it to something like a traditional business where, you know, if I look at a sales team, so the sales manager could be incentivized to show leadership, training, management with his sales team. When his team goes out and sells, they make commissions, so they get a basic, but they get commissions, and then he could get small commissions from whatever sales they are doing. Yeah. It's the same thing with an MLM. You're utilizing other people's time, capacity, and resource to be able to generate this residual income for yourself.
Not the same at all. So many layers to why that's wrong. First of all, it's not residual income. If you stop recruiting, if you stop doing the Zoom calls, if you stop going and doing meetings, the money stops. Secondly, it is not like traditional sales businesses. In a traditional sales business, or even direct sales business, if you really want to use that obsolete business model, the majority of the commission goes to the person who made the sale. And they are not paying commissions on multiple levels of distributors. A great example I use is WFG. WFG in that recent Ontario regulator enforcement action where they got in trouble, the regulator says WFG is paying commissions on 10 different levels of recruiters, or 10 different levels of agents for one single sale. So if you make a sale, 10 different people above you are getting paid a piece of that, which is not the norm for the insurance industry, which usually you just make the money directly. And if there is any override paid, it's paid to one level above you, and you still end up with the majority of it. The same cannot be said for MLM.
But where the problem comes in is when the company is saying, hey, all you got to do is go and find 3 people, who find 3 people, who find 3 people, who find 3 people, and you make a fortune. Retire, go to the Bahamas. But the reality is that you have to do the work. You have to sell the product. The product has got to move to customers. People are not involved in the network. You know, you don't want to recruit everybody. You want to show them why this product is absolutely amazing. I mean, in one of my previous lives, I sold rainbow vacuum cleaners. And I would go into the home, and my whole job in that house, I mean, I was doing door-to-door, knock on the door, selling the product.
Yeah.
My whole job in that house was to demonstrate that product to a level that amazed the client so that they thought, wow, I want to own one of these things.
Yeah, Richard, you're also 6,000 years old. And you were alive during the time when people were actually going door to door selling vacuums and encyclopedias and shit like that. Just like Peter Mingles, an old guy who swears that multi-level marketing, when done right, is a legitimate thing, who is so old that he himself had experience with Electrolux selling vacuums. These are people stuck in the past who wouldn't know how to use Instagram if a gun was pointed at the head of their family members and they said, make a post, make a reel. They wouldn't know how to do it. These people are just, they're stuck in the past.
And we had very soft closes. You know, it was a reverse out close.
Yes.
If you had it, would you use it? And if your wife would use it, will you buy it for her?
Yeah.
And we were in very traditional homes, so I don't want any haters telling me that it should have been the other way around.
Yes.
We'd close like that, and we'd just leave the people to make the decision. They'd make the decision, we'd sign them up. Now, the beauty is, every time I signed somebody up, I make commission. And I literally put food on my table and a roof over my head doing that. I then taught people to do it for me, and I ran a team. And that's when my money started to kick.
Right.
And by the time I left Rainbow, we had a huge team who was selling a lot of vacuum cleaners every month to customers.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the market demand justified recruiting more people, so because there was more need. If there was only one McDonald's in your city, guaranteed you would never get a chance to eat a burger because the line would be so insane around the block. It would be a constant line from sunup to sundown. That's why there are more McDonald's locations popping up, because the demand is there. In MLM, the demand for the lotions and potions is not there. Not to the point that would justify recruiting 5 people who recruit 5 people who recruit 5 people. No way, no how.
So, I mean, so that's kind of, that you can't make money out of MLM. That's a lot of rubbish.
Yeah.
Just join the right MLM company.
Right. No, I think the underlying...
It's join the right company. Again, Peter Mingles and Scott Johnson jerking off to this statement. MLM when done right. Wrong. Name one.
Comment there is mismanaged expectations. Earn
Yes.
a lot from doing a little. That's impossible. In no space, tradition or MLM, can that happen?
And just, if I can just put a focus on that sales thing that you said just now. If you were a sales manager and I was out there trying to make a living selling whatever, let's say we're selling office automation.
Yeah.
If I wasn't doing the work, how would you deal with that?
Oh, I'd just be upset about it.
Exactly. You'd be all over me. What the
Yeah.
hell? Why aren't you making the calls? Then, if I'm making the calls and I'm not closing, what
Yeah.
would you do?
I'd help you.
How would you help me?
I'd help you by getting in your corner. I would show you how it's done. We'd then do it together and then leave you to do it.
And you'd watch me do it. You'd
course.
see where I'm making a mistake. Because if I'm not selling, it's not because the product doesn't sell, because you know you can sell it. So you take me out and show me how to sell it. So that's the kind of mindset you need to have with your team. That's the kind of mindset you have to have when you join the MLM business. Step number 1, I need to get out and find myself some customers. How do I do that? Now, you need to be relying on the training from the company to teach you to do that. If it's an e-commerce play, this is how I get customers to come to my e-commerce site and buy from me. If it's a demonstration play, this is how I book a demonstration and show the product. This is how I get leads out of the demonstration. This is how I find new people to talk to. So all of that stuff has got to be trained. And the problem, they say, you can't make money out of MLM. That's horse. The problem is the guys are not trained on how to sell their products to make money out of MLM.
Yeah. I mean, this goes into, excuse me, a whole nother conversation about training and how important it is. So it's mismanaged expectations and not being trained enough, and that's why people perceive this industry as not being able to make money within it.
Yeah, exactly right. Tell the person what they need to do, then teach them how to do it, and then manage them through the process so that they get to a point where they're earning enough money to make this viable. You know, is everybody going to succeed at it? No. Not everybody succeeds in any space. You know,
Yeah.
I've seen people who are complete dismal failures at waitressing.
Yeah.
Or waitering.
Yeah.
What do they call it? It's waiter.
Waitron.
Waitrons. You know, people fail in all sorts of areas. This is not unique in that. But if you
Richard, please explain to me how a waiter or a waitress fails. A waiter or a waitress goes to their job, and even if they do such a bad job, and they drop every tray and drop every glass and forget every order and get fired, the worst case scenario, guess what? They'll still get paid for their hours. once again, this logical fallacy, apples to oranges, comparing, it's a false equivalence, comparing something where you have guaranteed income for being there, and I guess we could talk about tips as being the factor that is influenced by your own effort. If you're a waiter or a waitress, a server, you know, the tips, you could say, are impacted by your own effort. MLM, not the same thing. Waitron 3000. So funny, Waitrons. Again, this is another just negative ass thing they do. Belittling and talking down and condescending on regular jobs. Waitrons. Yeah, those little Waitrons, those little stupid little bots. They're in the Matrix. No, bro. You are in the fucking Matrix.
A person should fail in spite of you, not because of you.
Right.
And the problem in the MLM space is there's too many people out there who are just throwing mud against the wall to see what sticks. Instead of taking somebody on, taking them under their wing, showing them how to do the job. And then once they know that that person can do it, let them go and manage them and see that they're doing the work to generate the income.
Yeah.
You know, that's how it should be done. And I think the reason that these haters are putting on that point is that it's not being done like that by a lot of companies. There's many companies who do it right. The Tupperwares of this world. The Avons of this world.
And the Amways.
Well, Amway's not so much. Amway's got an epic product, but if you have a look at their consumer base, it's primarily their network.
Again, I'm losing my marbles here because literally every MLM company would not be here if not for Amway. Amway is the one who made the laws globally the way they are today, starting back in 1979. Again, if you haven't read Ponzi-nomics or listened to the audiobook, I have a link in my description. If you're in Canada or the US, I have an affiliate link. If you want to support Robert, support me, get the book, listen to it. Again, just the madness here is so unspeakable, where even Richard here will say, oh, you know, Amway, most of their money comes from people within the company buying it. But yet every other company is a baby Amway. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? And the other companies he names, Avon, Tupperware. Tupperware. 1 month ago, Good Morning America. Tupperware could go out of business. Here's why.
Thanks for all you do to bring awareness.
Thank you, Chrissy. Appreciate that. Tupperware could go out of business. Here's why. The brand could be out of business. The reusable containers, blah, blah, blah. In a regulatory filing earlier this month, Tupperware said it has substantial doubt about the company's ability to continue as a going concern. Why is that? Let's see. Financing options with advisors to see if there's a way forward without losing the business. Let's keep going. Embarked on a journey to turn around our operations and is doing everything in its power. Blah, 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 blah. Anyway, I mean, do we even really need to go into the reasoning for why they're expecting to go out of business? This is an example. This is the company that Richard here gives as an example of a good company. And it's a company that's on the way out.
So what happens is a person joins. There is a reason for that, because when a person joins Amway, they join Amway and they think, well, I'll become an agent to get the product at a discount. So a large percentage of Amway's members are actually just customers getting a discount. They're not actually joining the business to be in the business. They're joining the business to get the products cheaper.
Yeah.
And a lot of people do that. That skews the numbers quite badly within MLM, because the guys think, this
were they attacked by the FTC? Sounds like Scott needs to do his homework. You know, Scott agrees with this guy, actually.
This is excellent. I can get in here. It doesn't cost me anything. So if it's an Amway or whatever, and it costs me very little to get in, then what I do is I get in. I'll pretend to be a salesperson just so that I can get the products cheaper. Now, that's one of the reasons why in our businesses we sell a starter kit, because we want to fund the training we need to give the person, and we have an administration fee. And the reason I do that is to prevent customers from becoming RBOs to get a discount. That way, when a customer makes a purchase...
Okay, so just what every other company does, Richard. You're not special, bro. You're not innovating.
They purchase from an RBO, and I can pay the retail commission out.
Right.
No, Richard, it's the tool scam. Lack of retail sales.
Yes.
And if this IBO is doing a lot of volume, I can pay them very big retail commission. And if they're doing just a little, I'll pay them a little retail commission. So, but that customer is now highly defined as a customer. And this guy, he's paying to be part of this network on a monthly basis. Obviously, he expects us to train him, expects us to work with him or her and make sure that they know what's going on in the business. And obviously, that's what, in my opinion, makes the difference. That creates that retail commission to customers.
Right.
If you want the product, you buy it at full retail from me, I make retail commission for selling it to you. Again, going back to, you can make money in MLM.
Yeah. And I mean, I mentioned the whole training component there. If let's say I had no experience within network marketing and I joined a company, I would throw them out against the wall and see what sticks. That's exactly what I do.
Because you're not trained.
Because I'm not trained. I
But
don't know.
also your expectation is, all you have to do is.
Yes, and then I'll just contact my deadbeat uncle and
Again, it's just the bad apples. Well, maybe the trainer didn't do it right. Maybe that company didn't do it right. Nonsense. Flim flam. Mumbo jumbo. Gobbledygook. Poppycock.
my friend, family, and neighbor's dog, and see if they would like to purchase
Good
these
points. Back to you, Marco. Thank you, Panda.
products. But if I'm given training and strategy in which to go out and find my customers, upsell customers, create customer loyalty, and then recruit them into the business because they know, trust, and like the product, and they want to on-sell.
That's one of the things is, and I've been looking at the numbers, some of the companies who we've been involved with who are heavily into direct selling, in other words, where you sit down, demonstrate the product, they've been the ones that have taken a bit of knock during COVID. So you can see the companies in our business where it's just recruit, and you can see the businesses that are focused on sales, because the businesses are focused on sales, that's a belly-to-belly operation, and you can see a dip in their turnover.
Yeah.
Whereas the businesses that just recruiting, you know, their income is just climbing.
Yeah.
But not necessarily, you know, their churn rate will be high because they're bringing people in and they're going and,
I mean, the stats, I saw stats yesterday about this Brazilian cosmetics company. This year, 2021, they increased turnover by 97%.
Crazy,
and they pushed product first and foremost.
Oh, really,
Sales,
hey?
product sales.
So but they're doing it, I think you mentioned they're doing it a lot on using e-commerce and their replicated websites and things.
Yeah, they are. Okay, let's get into the third one, which is MLM businesses offer worse odds than playing roulette.
Let's see how he answers this one.
Well, I can understand that comment, because if you get into an M&M business and your expectation is all I've got to do is sign up 5 people who sign up 5 people who sign up 5 people who sign up 5 people, well, that chain is never going to happen.
Yeah.
Because what are the chances of you finding those 5 people who will each sign up 5 people, and they find 5 people who will each sign up 5 people? The
Not
chances
likely.
of that are 0 to nothing.
Yeah.
You're right. Thank you.
You know, the guys who build these big networks, they're very skilled, They go out, they find the right people, they train those people properly. They get those people selling the product. Then they utilize those people to build a small sales team, and they build on the back of that, and they build up their business, and it takes years. It's not a case of just like one day you're doing nothing, the next day you're earning $200,000 a month, you know? So, yeah. So,
I think I like to draw comparisons with traditional business because that's what people understand and they relate to. So if I think of a traditional business and the the positions available, not everyone can be a director. Not everyone can be a CEO of a company. There are just those people that are the hard workers, the employees, the junior managers, or just the managers. And in the MLM space, it's the same thing. Some people aren't as skilled or skilled enough to reach a top rank CEO level position.
What kind of flavor Kool-Aid are they drinking there? I was wondering that too. Are they drinking juice? But I realize now it's Kool-Aid.
And that's just the reality of how the world works.
yeah, and they might be great at selling the product. And if you have a look at a normal business, you can have a situation where you've got people in your company who are useless.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, when you've got a company, especially in this country, you cannot get rid of useless people. You're stuck with them. And so within the MLM space, of course, useless fails, and they fail right out the business.
Right.
You know,
Right.
So how are they even answering the question of the odds of making money at roulette? What's their answer? Well, it comes down to your effort.
Again, it should happen in spite of you, not because of you.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Let me just show you something. I Googled businesses with the highest failure rate. Okay? Let's see. Businesses that have high failure rates. Let's check it out. This is from smallbusiness.com. Say construction, retail, transportation, manufacturing. Okay, this is mostly spam. Let me see if I can find a better one. 5 businesses most likely to fail. Here's a good one. Okay, restaurants. Is that a surprise to anyone? Independent restaurants. Mind you, this is number one. Oh, Bureau of Labor Statistics looked at business failure rates at the 1-year, 5-year, and 10-year marks. So this is actually from the Bureau of Labor Statistics, not just from fool.com. Okay? Number one, restaurants. Now, some of you guys may have had family members that owned a bar or a restaurant. So let's check out how this works. Independent restaurants have a failure rate of over 60% at the 10-year mark. So over the course of 10 years, think about how much can change over 10 years. You open up your restaurant, over the course of 10 years, maybe people could have, the quality could have slipped, maybe there were competitors that opened up around you. So over the course of 10 years, 60% failure, 60% chance of failure. That's pretty high. I wouldn't advise somebody to go open up a restaurant tomorrow. So 60% over 10 years. MLM, 99.7% in 1 year. So, this is something I love, whether it's Dominic Izzo or Richard or whoever it is. Oh, well, 99% of all businesses fail. No, they fucking don't. No, they don't. Even the businesses, even the number one ranked business in terms of the highest failure rate, number one, only shows a 60% failure rate at 10 years. Over 10 years. It says the key to success is the ability to raise capital when needed. If a business owner can't do that, there's not much left to do but close the doors. Caveat, the restaurant failure rate is higher in areas saturated with restaurants. Oh, you don't say. Oh, so it's almost like competition is a factor in free market capitalism. It's almost like the analogy I gave a few minutes ago with McDonald's and how you wouldn't want to open a McDonald's right next to a McDonald's because they'll cannibalize each other. If you have too many options for restaurants, the likelihood that people are going to choose your restaurant every time diminish with each new restaurant that opens up. Well, maybe I want to try that one today. Maybe I want to try that one. Oh, that one was good. Let's go back there. If you dream of owning an eating establishment, look for a spot where you won't have to compete with hordes of competitors. That's tough because you want to find an area that's not too saturated with competitors. But if you go too far away, well, now you're away from residential neighborhoods. You're away from families who want to go out to eat. So it's tough. I am not surprised that restaurant is ranked number one. Do I even need to continue? Oh, number 3, direct sales. Oh, can you believe it? Oh, can you believe it? Direct sales. Oh, what about retail stores? Oh, retail stores? Online businesses undercutting your prices? Oh, wait, so you mean Amazon has been a factor in Walmart and Target and other retail stores shutting down? No, you don't say. 60% failure rate at the 10-year mark as well, same as restaurants. Direct sales. Yes, it's your own business, but if a friend asks you to become part of an MLM, say no. Well, you'll hear our success stories. You won't hear that. Like a pyramid scheme, 99% of direct sales reps suffer significant financial loss. It's the people at the top and the person who recruit you who make money. Businesses like Mary Kay, Pampered Chef, Herbalife. There is no caveat. Instead of making a large company richer, build an emergency savings account or go on vacation. And then number 5, insurance sales. This is a great statistic that I should probably include in my my Primerica video because this is, like I said, Bureau of Labor Statistics. Number 5, insurance agents face the challenge of wearing too many hats. They must master admin work, sales, and an ever-changing insurance scene. I mean, and then think about that. An already difficult business, insurance sales, combine that with an MLM model, and what you have is a recipe for disaster. You're adding, an impossibly high failure rate with a business model, MLM, with an even higher impossible failure rate. Insane. All right, here we go.
MLM, the number 4, MLM businesses incentivize their reps to buy from them.
Look, Let me put it this way. If you worked for Tesla,
Just answer the fucking question.
and Tesla said, listen, we're going to give you a 25% discount if you drive a Tesla, would you go and drive a Ford?
No,
No.
of course not.
Well, the first thing is that you want to drive a Tesla because it is a very compelling product. You have a look at that Tesla, you think to yourself, wow, who wouldn't want to own this? And if the company says to you, well, look, if you go out and buy this car, we're going to give you a discount. We're going to incentivize you for driving our car rather than driving the opposition's car. And they tell you why that car is absolutely epic and excellent and amazing and awesome. And then you drive the car and you think, wow, this is epic and amazing and awesome and excellent. Then I don't see a problem with that. Why would the company not incentivize you to use their products? It would be stupid. So, you know, that's a straw man argument as far as I'm concerned. It's a waste of time, waste of breath.
Yeah.
I mean, of course the company wants you to buy their product.
Yeah.
Sort of works against, however, the thing Richard said earlier in this, which is where he's talking about the best people to recruit are your customers. You should try to recruit 10% of your own customers. That's what he said. Tesla is not doing that. Tesla is not going and finding Tesla drivers and saying, do you want to come work for Tesla? Having a staff discount is not the same thing as, dangling the carrot of saying, well, you can get discounts on the product. Richard, you, me, and God know the truth. That people in MLMs that are recruiting are trying to get people to join the company, not because of a discount, but because of the promise of unlimited income, time freedom, and selling them the dream, selling them the opportunity. Tesla's not doing that.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And as a matter of fact, if you're selling their product and you are not using it yourself, then you obviously don't believe in it.
Right.
Leave the company and go and join someone where you can believe in the product.
Yeah.
You with me?
Of course.
So,
If I'm a salesperson in a traditional business and I'm
The irony of him saying that's a straw man argument. Richard, you wouldn't know a straw man argument or a logical fallacy if it hit you in the head, because I'm explaining them to you right now and you can't catch them.
selling a product that I just do not
I would love for him to react to one of my videos, since I'm a hater. I'm one of the biggest haters on YouTube, bro.
believe in. Am I not a con artist?
Well, exactly right.
What?
In MLM's,
One where you can believe in the product.
yeah.
This guy thought he dropped a bar right here.
You with me?
Of course.
So,
If I'm a salesperson in a traditional business and I'm selling a product that I just do not believe in, am I not a con artist?
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual litigants with a case pending in civil court. Both parties have agreed to drop their claims and have their cases settled here before Judge Marco in our forum, the Goon Court.
If I'm selling a product and I don't believe in it, doesn't that make me a con artist? Look at his fucking face right here. He thought he dropped a bar. Valerie Michelle, thank you. She says, that's like saying you can't be a sober bartender. You can sell things and not have them be your whole culty life. Again, it is mental gymnastics, logical fallacies, left, right, and center. No, actually, I don't know what this guy's name is. No, you're not a con artist if you sell something that you yourself don't particularly believe in. Most people, and this is at the root of why MLMs are cults, most people look at a job as exactly that. It's a job. It's a means of making money. If they lose their job, they know they'll have to go get another one. Most people don't expect that their job is that they're going to have the same job forever. It's not the reality for most people. Only in MLM do people worship the company to such a degree that something like believing in the product would be necessary. If you went to any job interview and they said, tell me your why, if you start to slip, is it okay if I hold you accountable and remind you of, your grandma being in the hospital and you wanting to pay for her hospital bills? Is that okay if I remind you of your wife? And all this sort of like emotionally manipulative nonsense shit that they do. No, you're not a con artist if you sell something that you personally don't believe in. You don't think there's vegetarians that work at restaurants that sell meat. They don't believe in that. So are they con artists? If I'm a chef, but I personally don't eat a certain food, if I'm a chef, but I don't like mushrooms, and yet one of the dishes on the menu is a mushroom pasta, am I a con artist? Look at this face. Again, the Sunken Place. I need to add the Daniel Kaluuya Sunken Place image as one of the emojis for you guys to use in chat. I mean, somebody remind me of that. Somebody will put it in Discord. Yeah, I'm going to add that as an emoji in the chat because that Sunken Place analogy is very apt. Kilikina says, I need a gavel. All right.
What you are about to witness is real. The participants are not actors. They are actual...
Order! Order in the court! I have a gavel. I was too lazy to go grab it. All right, here we go.
Well, exactly.
There's a reason MLMs commingle business with faith. You have to believe without evidence. That's a bar.
Bars.
Gotta do coke to sell coke, says Danny. Yeah, Scott and Peter would use that against me. Panda, all rise. Yeah, shout out to Panda. If you guys see Panda in the chat, Panda Bear in the chat is the voice of Goon News and Goon Court. So if you see him in the chat, send him a little salute. Send him a bag. Send him a bag. Send him a bag using the link streamlabs.com/Marco54/tip. I'll make sure it gets to him. Trust me. All right. You can sell cigarettes, but still... Exactly. Another great point by Bad Dog Sports regarding the Tesla discount bullshit that Richard said. He says 25% off of a Tesla is still stupid when you can get so many vehicles for much less. Just like, why would I buy an Amway shampoo at a 25% discount when I can buy another shampoo for $30 less, even without a discount? It's such a great point. Richard, of course, would omit in his analogy the fact that most MLM products are overpriced and have no chance of competing with legacy brands that people already know and love, like, Head and Shoulders, L'Oreal, whatever it is. Bad Dog says, if I buy a McDonald's, another great example, if I buy a McDonald's franchise, do I have to constantly eat Big Macs and Quarter Pounders? Again, the Sunken Place. The Sunken Place. Dude, that Sunken Place emoji will be so good for when I have debates and the whole chat will be Sunken Place. Killikin, I got a gavel. Don't worry. All right. Let's continue. Panda, Beyond, hit up Panda for voice work. He actually is talented. Panda, take the bag, bro. Take the bag. Beyond, I'll broker this deal. I get 20%. Don't worry. I'm gonna get 20%. No problem. Hey, Panda, just roll with this one. Beyond, hit me up. Don't message Panda directly. Message me. Send me the script. I'll send it to Panda. I'll work out how many dollars per word that it's gonna be. I'm his agent. Don't even trip. I got you.
Traditional business, and I'm selling a product that I just do not believe in. Am I not a con artist?
Well, exactly right.
In the MLM space, there's no difference.
Exactly right. No, it's not.
No.
You still, if you don't believe in the product that you're selling, why are you selling it?
Yeah, I mean, I went the other day. We were looking for a car, so we were looking to see what car we bought. We landed up buying a Nissan. But
Nissan.
Anyway, looking at the various cars, and I went into the Ford dealership, and the guy arrived in his car to sell Fords.
Yeah.
And he was driving a Mazda.
Can't buy from him. That guy's a con artist.
Now, my first instinct was,
yeah,
you don't even believe in your product enough to drive your own product.
What an insufferable fucking dickhead. Richard, you are a dick.
You're driving a Mazda. And so my immediate feeling was, obviously, this is not a very good car, because if you sell it,
yes,
surely you believe enough to drive it.
So then did you go to the Ford dealership then? Since he wasn't driving a Nissan, he was driving a Ford, right? But then what happens, Richard, if you get to the Ford dealership and the guy who's selling the Fords actually drives an Audi? Then what are you going to do? Then you're going to go to the Audi dealership until eventually you have to settle on a Bugatti? Because you go to the Audi dealership and the guy who's selling you the car drives a BMW. So now you go to the BMW dealership and he's driving a Benz. So you go to the Benz dealership and he's driving a Lambo. But only the Nissan was in your budget. Richard, what are you going to do? Everyone's lying to me. Everyone's a con artist. Us versus them mentality is such a key in MLM cults. Everyone else is a scammer. University is the real scam. College is a scam. Marriage is a scam. Your family's a pyramid. I go to the car dealership. I'm trying to buy a Nissan. The guy's driving a Ford. Thank God for me. I'm such an ethical businessman. I help people. They really believe this shit. Go watch my ACN video. Nathan talks about, I'm proud of what I do. He says, I'm proud of what I do. I help people retire. I'm a professional network marketer. I help people retire. That's what he says. Hey, Nathan, you could not name me one person you have ever fucking helped retire in your life.
Yes.
And I'm sure there's nothing wrong with Mazdas, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy a Ford.
Yeah.
You with me?
Yeah. You found the Nissan guy selling you the Nissan car.
But he was driving a Nissan as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just an interesting thing. So, so again, I mean, we can get into an hour's conversation around this, but what company wouldn't expect or encourage or incentivize their reps to buy their products?
Sure. Exactly.
It's a stupid argument.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, let's move on.
Tick that
It's
one
a
off the
stupid
box.
argument.
Their
You're
products.
Sure.
It's
Exactly.
a stupid argument. Expect or encourage or incentivize their reps to buy their products.
Sure.
It's
Exactly.
a stupid argument.
MLMs incentivize their reps to buy their products so they can disguise the fact that they don't have any genuine retail customers that want their product. They're selling it to themselves. And Richard, for you to say that this is a stupid comment, a few minutes ago, you yourself literally said that this is what Amway does. And we all know Amway is the standard, the precedent, the OG, the originator, the godfather of all the MLM companies that exist today. So, sorry, Richard. You are in the sunken place, my friend. You are a zombie. You are a Waitron.
Yeah.
Moving on.
Okay, let's move on.
Tick that one off the box.
Point number 5.
Joey K makes a great point. It's almost like people work jobs for money and not because they're in love with the company. Wow. Go figure. But you know what Richard would say to that, Joey K? Richard would say, that's an employee mindset.
Is MLM businesses need to constantly recruit to replace those who quit.
Facts.
Look, that is true. That is true. And I can tell you right now, if you have a look at the churn rate in something like, let's take insurance brokers, have a look at their churn rate, or office automation salespeople,
Right.
or any of those kind of companies. Now, in those companies, people are being paid a salary to stop them from leaving. And the guy's got to now go and find another job where somebody else will pay him a salary to leave.
Yeah.
And yet they have a very high churn rate in those industries. And the reason they have a high churn rate is twofold. One, it's not easy. It's not easy. I mean, sales is quite a difficult business to be in, full stop.
Yeah.
That's true.
And number two, obviously the guys come in with an expectation that's unrealistic. I know that Ryan went into, when he was a kid, he started school, he went into one of these office automation places to get a job.
Yeah.
And the salary they promised them was just crazy. I said, Ryan, what do you have to do to earn that much money? When he explained to me what he had to earn, I said, well, the chances of you earning that are zero.
Right. Yeah.
So they were painting, and that's normal business, that's traditional business, okay? So they were painting this incredible picture of how much money you could earn in a traditional business selling that office automation. You with me?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it seems to me that, and you're going back to comparing this with traditional businesses. I mean, it's no different wherever you go. Just read what was the hater comment?
It says you need to constantly recruit to
Oh,
replace
yes.
those that quit.
And so in their space, the people get the wrong expectation.
Yeah.
They find that they don't need, and then they churn out the business.
Yeah.
Really? Wow. I'm learning new things every day from you, Richard. So in regular traditional business, people are also being churned out? Where? You mean when people work there for a while and then they move, so they leave the company or they get fired? That's not the same thing. Well, it's the expectation. Hey, here's the big difference, Richard. I will agree with you that people in MLMs are being sold, unrealistic promises, and the expectations are way too high. And that does contribute to why people leave. I'm sure if most people were told, hey, you're probably not going to make any money in this, and they were told the business model and shown the business model transparently, they would see it's a pyramid scheme and nobody would join. But you, me, and God know that that's not what happens. What happens is, I grew up in a mud hut in Mexico, and now I drive a Lamborghini, and we go on amazing vacations, and I have a 6-figure income and financial freedom and time freedom, and you can do this too. You, me, and God know that that's what's really being said, right? So that does contribute to why there is a churn rate. Any other traditional business that you talk about, you know exactly how much you're getting paid when you start there. They tell you, here's how much the job pays. It's this much hourly plus tips for the waitrons, or it's a salary of this much a year. Again, look at this face, Sunken Place.
Now in MLM, you're not even paying the person to be there. They're volunteers. They say, hey, what does it cost me to get in? $60.
In South African accent. Stupid argument. That was made by someone with a mini inch. Moving on. So funny. Bad dog. When you're a salesman for an actual company, you don't need to pay the company a monthly fee to sell their product. They pay you. Exactly.
Or $20. They find that they don't need, and then they churn out the business.
Yeah.
Now in MLM, you're not even paying the person to be there. They're volunteers. They say, hey, what does it cost me to get in? $60 or $20 or $50, $100. Okay. So they pay their $100 and they give it a punt. They treat it like roulette.
Yes.
They treat it like it's a gamble. And then it doesn't work and they leave. Well,
Yeah.
there's two reasons for that. You didn't train them properly. You didn't set the right expectation.
Yeah.
If that's what the guy thought,
Yes.
shouldn't have signed up in the first place. If that's where they are, why are you getting into the business in the first place? This is not a gamble. It's a business that
Yeah.
you need to work at.
You work hard at
Yeah.
it.
So yes, there is churn, but again, I think it goes back to the fact that in the recruiting process, the MLM companies are not creating the right expectations, and therefore the people who get in with the wrong expectations. Those expectations are not met. They resign, and you need to replace them. Hell, it would be much easier to just, when they came in, put the effort into training.
Well, of course.
Hey, thank you, Josephine. I appreciate that.
You're broke! You're fucking poor!
Thank you.
Exactly. That's educate them, provide them with strategies, train them enough so that they can go out and do the business. They want to work hard.
Volunteers, yep.
These guys come into the business and just don't go, I'm going to sit back and relax if expectations are managed. And when they get into the business, they go, please, I've just paid you a starter kit fee, $60. Tell me how to do this. I want to learn. I want to work hard. I want to activate a network and I want to make some money.
And what we found is within 6 weeks, if you haven't got the guy
Someone gift our boy Meek a membership, bro. I feel bad.
making money in 6 weeks, they're gone. So if you want to bring your churn rate down, within the first 6 weeks, that person must be making money. They must be making
It's like gambling while busting your ass working simultaneously. Yeah. You press the button on the slot machine to spin, but you also have to do 30 push-ups.
sales. They must have recruited customers. They must have their e-commerce website must be generating them income.
Yeah. And there's so many ways to do that. We incentivize through the
Today's world.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And especially even something as small as the compensation plan and creating a fast start bonus. Recruit or sell and then recruit in the first 4 to 6 weeks. Someone's going to get their starter kit fee back. If I join the business and I pay $60, I get it back for making a first couple sales. I'm seriously motivated because,
Exactly.
wow, this is not as hard as I thought it would be.
Exactly.
You've set the expectation and I've achieved that goal.
Exactly. And now you believe.
I believe now.
Yeah. And now you go out and work. And
I believe. Jesus Christ.
somebody who can sell the product, especially if they sell it effectively over a period of time, that person will find people in their network of customers who will want to become members. So your churn rate goes down. So the more effective your people are at selling, the lower your churn rate.
Yeah.
So you'll see a company like the Tupperware
Yeah.
has got a much lower churn rate than somebody like, I don't know, I don't want to mention any company names, but other companies that are just focused on building networks.
Yeah. I would rather have 4,000 people that I've trained that are highly motivated and
Yeah, you can't gift memberships to specific people, unfortunately.
are making success of themselves than 10, 15,000 people who I've just said, go find your feet.
Well, the situation is, if you've got 3,000 active agents, you should have a minimum of 7,000 active customers.
Yeah, Meek doesn't have gift acceptance on, so I get more members. So funny.
People who I've just said, go find your feet.
Well, the situation is, if you've got 3,000 active agents, you should have a minimum of 7,000 active customers.
Right.
That this plays directly into what I said earlier about how they make it so that the ratio of distributors to customers always looks like there's more customers than distributors, because the amount of distributors, they're recruiting 3 people each. Those 3 people, while they have 0 people under them, are classified simply as a customer. So, Even Stevens gifted a membership to Mary. Thank you. Thank you, Even Stevens.
That's what you should have a minimum of.
Channeled Ming with that. I don't want to mention company names. Yeah, totally.
And that's what your target should be. If it's not like that, it's wonky. You
Yeah.
need to work on it.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So let's move on to
Hope he's giving you a good cut, Meek. Hilarious.
point number 6, where MLM reps are unpaid sales reps, not business owners. So let's say.
Well, look,
What's he gonna
let's
say?
compare this for a moment to franchising.
Yes.
People refer to people who buy a franchise, let's say they buy it done.
Again, I really hope you guys watched my interview with Doug Brooks, because Doug Brooks is an actual experienced franchise lawyer. Okay? Go watch my interview with Doug Brooks after this if you haven't seen it. Well, if you're not sick of me by that point. Yeah, Doug Brooks, an actual franchise lawyer, he will explain to you that this is not, it's not a franchise. But here we go. He's gonna make the analogy anyway. So let's check it out.
Dunkin' Donut or one of the big franchises, whatever, all of them. And they consider those people to be business owners. I consider those people to have bought a job.
Yeah.
Bought a job. What an idiot.
That's what I consider them to be to done.
Tough job.
A very tough job. So they go out, they spend millions setting up this environment, employing the staff. They go through intensive training for months. They then step into their business, but what are they really doing?
Wow.
They've got a job. And the franchise,
Wow. Sorry, I wasn't even sharing the screen. What a fuck. Look at how he goes like this when he says business. About a franchise.
employing the staff, they go through intensive training for months. They then step into their business, but what are they really doing? They've got a job. And the franchising company, the company they're franchising, that they're the ones who make the real money. They're the ones that are listed on the stock exchange. I mean, if you go and have a look at a McDonald's, they're listed on the stock exchange. Their market cap is crazy.
What a fucking idiot. There is a house in the city I live that I've driven by before. And there is it's a mansion. It's a gated private residence. And in the driveway, I often see two of these matching AMG SUVs, like Benzes, like the nicest top of the line Benz. One of the license plates says Ice Cap, and another one of them says something, and they have another nice car in the garage, also a Mercedes. They own Tim Hortons franchises. That's where they got their money. How do I know? Because years and years ago, a friend of mine, when he was delivering pizza, actually delivered to this house and asked them, what do you guys do? And they said, we have Tim Hortons franchises.
I take responsibility.
Thank you, KB. Congrats to who got that membership. Doc Mo. Who is it? Don't know. And they have Tim Hortons franchises. Now, are they Tim Hortons? No. Are they the CEOs of Tim Hortons? No. Are they the ones who have who are listed on whatever the stock? No. But they became millionaires off of it, and it is absolutely their business. You absolutely do own a franchise. For him to try to condescend and look down on franchises is so cock. So cock. Wow.
high.
Yeah.
Realizing that they're the ones who make the real money.
They're the ones who make the real money. Yeah, franchise fee, it ain't no joke. It is big money. But there's always a bigger fish. At least they're making money, though, Richard. That's all I'll say.
They're the ones that are listed on the stock exchange. I mean, if you go and have a look at a McDonald's, they're listed on the stock exchange.
Yeah.
It's so funny how this analogy actually works against him so bad. Because, Richard, if I joined as a distributor for your MLM company, you would tell me it's so great because I only have to pay, $100 or whatever to join the opportunity. Whereas McDonald's, I'd have to spend millions and, buy my job. Even though if I became a McDonald's franchisee, I would never actually have to work. I would never be, making fries. I would never actually have to work in the store. You would have a manager run it. That's real passive income. What would you say, Richard, if I said to you, well, hey, Richard, if I join your MLM, isn't that must be a scam because you're the one making the real money. You're the one who's the actual company owner. How's it any different for you then, Richard? Just nonsense. Oh, wow. Another membership got gifted.
I
Aaron
take
C.
responsibility.
Thank you, Aaron C. Gifting to username. Literally, it's just going to like random accounts that just say username at this point. Can't make this shit up. They had to pay to work at McDonald's. Jobception. Yeah. So stupid. So stupid. Oh, username. You are in here. Okay, never mind. Meek is a plant. I'm starting to think Meek is a plant for real. Oh, what happened to my camera? Wow, I'm in the Matrix. That's what happened. What the fuck was that? All right. They must have recruited 3,000 other franchisees, right? All right, let's see.
The market cap is crazy high.
Yeah.
Do you think the individual McDonald's owners out there are
Franchisee.
making an absolute killing? No.
Yes, they are making a killing. If you own a McDonald's, first of all, yeah, you are making a killing.
Making a living.
Yeah.
And so they own a job, and it costs them millions.
And you know what? I'll do you one better, Richard. Even if they were only just making a living, at least they're making a living. The same cannot be said about MLM, where you're losing money.
For that job. Millions.
Yeah.
For that job. Now, in the multi-level marketing space, what is your risk?
So dumb. Go watch my interview with Doug Brooks. He goes into great detail about how MLM and franchising are not anything close to each other when it comes to the actual equity and fairness and money-making opportunity that actually exists there. You have you have none of the protections in MLM that you have owning an actual franchise. Kilakina, thank you for the gifted memberships.
You're so fucking poor.
Jessie, Jay-Z, shaboy, Kayla Steins, amazing. Spencer K, we're gifted memberships. Welcome to the cult.
Obama.
Unfortunately, Meek didn't get one. So let's keep it going.
Maybe you risk £60, $60, a couple of $100, whatever it is. So your risk is minuscule. Now,
Your risk is minuscule up front, but you yourself, Richard, said that you're charging an administration fee on your MLM every single month. So maybe, okay, it's only $60 for the first month, but what if I stay in a year? It's $60 plus $20 to $25 every single month, plus whatever events I'm paying for tickets for, plus whatever extra trainings, mindset trainings, plus the opportunity cost of my time where I can't do other things because I'm busy grinding on my MLM business, plus the cost of my gas if I have to travel, plus the cost of whatever products I myself am buying. Madness.
you can go out there in the same way as the guy at McDonald's has to sell 10,000 burgers a week to hit his targets and make his money. You can go out
And he will, because the demand for McDonald's is there, Richard.
there and you can aggressively look for customers. You can look for them in person. You can look them through advertising on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. You can look for them in your e-commerce play online. You can go out and find customers. And with the multi-level marketing space, you've got no overhead. The company is handling all the overheads. So they're doing the pick, pack, and ship. All the fulfillment and logistics is handled by them. They warehousing the stock.
Yeah, and you're paying for it as the distributor.
They are taking the payment and they're giving you your share of it. You're doing nothing. You just go out, find the customers, and get it going.
Yeah.
And you can earn up to 30, sometimes 40% of whatever that sale is. You can earn. By
Oh, wow. Lucky me. 30% of a $20 or $40 bottle of shampoo. Let it rain, baby. Bring on the money.
selling the product.
Yeah.
So, what are you if you're not a business owner?
Yeah.
Yes, you don't receive a salary.
Sorry. I'm going to make a personal attack here. What a fucking idiot. What a fucking stupid thing to say, Richard. That buying a McDonald's franchise is buying yourself a job, but joining an MLM is your own business.
I take responsibility.
I gotta rewind it because there's no fucking way.
You're doing nothing. You just go out, find the customers, and get it going.
Yeah.
And you can earn up to 30, sometimes 40% of whatever that sale is. You can earn by selling the product.
Yeah.
So, what are you if you're not a business owner?
Yeah.
Yes.
You're an independent 1099 contractor. You have no support. Bro, can you imagine if you owned a McDonald's franchise, the amount of support McDonald's would give you? There's a regional manager for McDonald's that's going to be in touch with all of the franchisees to help them and do whatever they need. You also have to go through what's called McDonald's University when you purchase a McDonald's franchise to make sure that you're operating exactly the way within the confines of the structure that McDonald's has already set out for you. There's a reason the barrier to entry for owning a McDonald's is so high, because there's money to be made there.
You don't receive a salary, but you think the guy who owns the McDonald's is receiving a salary. Yeah. No, he's got to generate his income out of the sales that happen in that.
And he will. McDonald's feeds. Think about this. When you really want to break down how ridiculous of a comparison MLM and McDonald's are, because those are the ones they love to use. They say, McDonald's. I guess MLM people think the only two businesses that exist are their MLM and McDonald's. Take this in. All of direct selling. So that's multi-level marketing, people actually selling shit. All of direct selling makes up less than 1% of retail sales in North America every year. Less than 1%. And McDonald's feeds 1% of the global population every day. McDonald's, this is from entrepreneur.com. McDonald's feeds around 1% of the world's population every day. 68 million people are served every day at McDonald's. This is from 2017, mind you, so it's more now, which is approximately 1% of the world. McDonald's sells an average of 75 burgers per second. Hey, Richard, the demand for McDonald's is there. The demand for McDonald's is there. So while you try to paint the target of 10,000 burgers or whatever as a negative for McDonald's, rest assured, those franchisees are making their money. They're selling those burgers. 10,000 burgers, it sounds like a lot. They sell 75 every second. Every second. I think they'll be okay. Unlike direct sales, that makes up less than 1% of all retail for the entire year. Less than 1% of all retail. That means including Walmart, Target, etc. Direct sales is less than 1% compared to those other giants. So when you guys make this, comparison, McDonald's and MLM, well, MLM, it's so cheap to join and blah, blah, blah. There's a reason. You get what you pay for, supply and demand. The more of something there is, the less valuable one is. The more valuable something is, the more expensive it is. You don't have to have a university degree to understand this. This is common sense. Hall Jones, welcome to the cult. Thank you. It's insane. It's insane what he is saying right now. It's absolute mental gymnastics, Cirque du Soleil levels of mental gymnastics from this crook, Richard Sletcher. That's what we're seeing right now.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
Or the Nando's, or whatever franchise it is. Mm-hmm. It's no different here. The difference is, though, if you fail in a traditional business, what does it cost you?
Yeah, sure. A lot. Your house, your car, maybe.
Your family. Possibly.
Fear-mongering. Us versus them. What else are you going to do? You need us.
If you fail in this business, you've lost 60 pounds in a couple of weeks of work.
Yeah.
And maybe your friends, and maybe your loved ones, and maybe your romantic partner, and whatever the thousands and thousands you might have spent over the course of a couple of years or even a single year on all those other costs I mentioned before.
Come on,
yeah.
Get over it.
Right.
If you push in this business, if you focus on sales, if you focus on your e-commerce platform, if you read the books related to e-commerce, if you...
Username says, imagine a McDonald's employee buying 100 burgers and trying to sell them in a month, right? Bad Dog says, so the McDonald's owner only makes money through the sale of a product, and an MLM IBO, the 1% of them who make money through recruiting. And McDonald's is bad? Exactly. Meek, drop a comment from your second account. Let's see if it works. NPAS gifted. Oh, wow, Meek V2 got one. Wow, Meek V1 is definitely broken. Wow. Yeah, a couple people in the chat saying they had McDonald's yesterday, proving my point. All good.
You tap into your upline.
Confirmed Meek didn't have gifts on.
I take responsibility.
Meek, the scam lasted. The Meek membership gifting scam lasted It was fun while it lasted, you know.
And to find out how best to use your e-commerce platform, how best to present the product, how best to demonstrate the product, how to find prospects. If you go out and learn how to do your business properly, you can succeed. I can tell you the vast majority of people do not succeed.
And thank you, Eliza, for gifting a membership to Lolly H. Congrats, Lolly H.
Because they don't put in the effort.
Yeah.
And that's fine.
Sure.
You know, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of the people do nothing, earn nothing.
Yeah.
That's the way it goes.
I mean, I love the risk the comparison there. The other thing I wanted to mention was you said the 30 to 40% on.
Such a stupid thing to say. Oh, you know, my Honda is better than a Lamborghini because my Honda was way cheaper. Lamborghini, you're going to have to spend so much money to get it. Stupid shit. Stupid thing to say. If my Honda gets totaled, I only lost 15 grand, but if my Lambo gets totaled, I lost $1 million. So that's why, stupid thing to say.
For retail that you can get back within MLM. Now, let's compare traditional business. Let's use office automation. And you, as a office automation retailer, is receiving a product at 30% on your wholesale price.
Again, man, it's hard to make a man understand something when his income is dependent on him not understanding it. Richard, looking at you.
Well, take music stores, because that's the one I know about.
Okay, cool.
So
Yeah.
I'm a dealer for a company that supplies musical equipment, because we've got the
this is good.
studio,
Yeah.
and we supply stuff to our clients and blah, blah, blah. So they give us a 40% discount on the product. So if the product's selling for $1,000, we buy it for $600.
Yeah, which is now sounding like a multi-level marketing.
Well, that's the retail part of it.
Okay.
Now, the problem is, though, that I can't sell this thing for $1,000 to the client, because everybody is so cutthroat. There's a race to the bottom in terms of trying to get the client. So I'll end up not being able to sell it for $1,000. I can only sell it for $660.
Yeah.
So instead of making 40%, I make 10%. So I'm getting this tiny, minuscule little profit because I'm in a war with every single person out there who's selling musical equipment.
Right, but what you also have to do, you have to have office premises, you have to have staff, you have to have all the equipment, you have to have everything, this full infrastructure. You've probably taken out a loan from the bank and you've put it up against your house or your car, and there's serious risk involved there for a very small margin.
Exactly.
Now within MLM, you're paying £60. There's full business infrastructure set up for you, providing you with an e-commerce platform and a back office to
And
run.
you're not competing.
Except, you know what it's not providing you? The most important thing, customers. It's actually doing the opposite. It's giving you this business model, this compensation plan that claims to be about selling, but the only way to unlock higher commissions or bonuses is by recruiting more people. And when you do that, you saturate the marketplace with more competition. This is not what McDonald's does. McDonald's, you're buying a system. There's a similarity. But you know what you also get with McDonald's? The brand recognition of the golden arches and the fact that McDonald's feeds 1% of the global population every single day. Every single day. People want to eat McDonald's. You'll make your money. Don't worry.
Competing with anybody else, because everybody's selling the product at the same price.
And you're making 30 to 40%.
So once the client is yours, they're locked to you. Every time they purchase from you, you'll be getting anything from, look, normally it starts at around 10%, and there's a sliding scale that as you sell more product, it goes up to 30%. So let's take it between 10 and 30.
Yeah.
As your volumes go up, you're earning 30%. But the issue is that there's no risk involved.
Yeah.
You know, you just have to put the effort in. Now, if you don't put the effort in, fine. So that the question was that people are unpaid salespeople. No, they're commission-only salespeople. Big difference.
Yeah, but if there's no okay, all right.
And when I was in the vacuum cleaner business, back in the day, there was two options we could do. We could have a low commission and a basic salary. They would set our targets for us. Every day we'd have to do 5 demos. Or, own boss, you buy your own vacuum cleaner to do your demos with, work when you like, but your commission structure was massive. Well, for me, it was a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Why on earth, if I believe that I can do this, why would I take a basic salary rather than a massive commission?
Yeah.
So I knocked the salary out the door, worked on a high commission, it was about 30% I think at the time, went out and just sold vacuum cleaners.
Yeah.
And of course, because I was making a nice big commission, it's earning good money.
Yeah.
So being a commission-only salesperson, it's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're getting the kind of margins that most MLM companies give to the retail side of their business.
Yeah, Danny, that's a great point. I said something similar to that earlier. McDonald's also controls the location and won't ever open another McDonald's within a specific distance of McDonald's A.
Yeah.
As I say, anything between 10 and 30% depending on your volume. Hell, get up in the morning, get out there.
Start making some sales.
Yeah, and if you're not getting a salary, then you earn what you are worth.
Yeah.
And if you earn nothing,
Yeah. You're worth.
exactly.
Yeah.
to that business. I'm not saying you're worthless as a human being, but to the company, if you earn nothing, that's because you're not selling anything. If you're not selling anything either, you're not properly trained or you're not doing the work. Those are the only two scenarios.
Right.
Or you've got a crummy product, in which case, stop that business.
Yes.
Find a business that's got a great product. Need to be able to believe in the product. Okay.
Cool. Lovely. Okay, point number 7. MLM businesses are unregulated. You
True.
have no way of knowing if they are fraud.
True.
Well, they are no more or less regulated than any other business that
Not true.
you walk into down the main street.
Yes. Okay.
So how do you know that when you walk into a crazy store or any other store for that matter? I'm not picking on crazy store, but
Yeah.
how do you know that what you're buying is actually what they're selling? You walk in, buy jewelry. How do you know that they say it's 9 karat gold? How do you know that it is?
Yeah.
You don't.
Yeah.
You know, you have to have.
Again, this is that fear-mongering, paranoia, cult behavior to make you think everybody else is trying to fuck you. It's me against the world. Everyone else is out there to scam me. Don't trust anything. This is how they get you. This is called thought stopping. It's how they get you on this radical cult pipeline. It's why so many people that I've seen who are in MLMs are like anti-vax, or they're in QAnon, or they think that Hillary Clinton is a lizard, which we know that one is actually true, but you know, you get my point.
Have some faith here. But
Or Scientology.
all companies, including multi-level marketing, have a set of governing rules that you can't breach. And if you do, you get yourself into trouble. So if you defraud people in a normal business,
It's way less regulated than anything else. You know, it's not even a criminal offense to run a pyramid scheme in the USA. It's not even a criminal offense to lie, mislead people about the business opportunity, have a structure that incentivizes recruiting over making sales. You know what will happen to you? You pay a fine and you close the company down and go start something else. You will never see the inside of a jail cell. That's how fucking unregulated it is.
you get yourself into trouble. If you tell them you're selling A and you're selling them B, and you do that often enough, you can land up in jail. Now, multi-level marketing is the same thing. Just read that question to me again so that I'm answering the exact...
Businesses are unregulated.
Yes, that's it.
You have no way of knowing.
Now, in MLM, there's some very strict rules. And the thing with multi-level marketing is because of all the illegal pyramid scams that are out there, the authorities take this industry more serious than any other. So if you get it wrong, if you do stuff that's illegal...
So not only is it as regulated as other industries, it's more regulated than other industries. I see.
Goon tax.
Thank you.
You're wrong. You're fucking bull.
Billions and billions.
God did.
Thank you, Lally H.
illegal or contrary to the laws and the rules,
Yep.
and they catch you, you go to jail.
No, you don't.
They literally, they call it a Ponzi scheme, they call it an illegal pyramid. You're at the top of this illegal pyramid by owning it, you go to jail.
No, you don't.
Yeah.
Do not pass go, do not collect 200, straight to jail.
Yeah.
End of story. So although the business traditionally is not regulated, it's no different to any other business, but you need, as if you are running one of these companies, you need to understand what makes these things illegal, and you need to make sure you steer clear of it. If you are joining
Guys, we're 10% of the way through that dono goal. I appreciate y'all. Let's hit it.
a multi-level marketing business, you need to understand what makes these businesses illegal, and you need to stay clear of the ones that are doing something unethical, illegal. And so I'm not saying that there aren't a lot of businesses out there doing something
Sure.
scaly.
Yes.
And the problem with the multi-level marketing structure is it's so powerful that companies have made successes without even having a decent product.
So, or even a product.
How is that not a red flag? The model is so successful that companies have made a profit without even having a product. That's called a pyramid scheme, Richard.
Or even a product. And that's where the industry has got its bad name from.
Yeah.
But again,
So he admits, what we can translate his words here to mean is that the system, which is a Ponzi scheme, has products or implements products as a cover for what is really going on, which is the business model, the business opportunity, which is not a business at all. It's a scam. It's an endless recruiting chain scam where people pay and then they go find new recruits who join up and they pay and you get a little piece of that. And the product is there literally just to disguise it. The system is powerful. You're right, Richard. And you can take full advantage of it if you attach some nonsense bullshit product to the cost of joining the business opportunity. Well, you're not paying, we're not paying people to recruit, but when new recruits buy a starter kit as part of them joining, the person who recruited them will get paid, but they're not getting paid from the recruitment, they're getting paid from the starter kit. Well, could I have joined without the starter kit? No. oh, so the purchase of the starter kit and the cost of my recruitment were inextricably linked. Okay.
You need to start off by saying, okay, I need a product I can relate to, that I love, that I can tell people about without feeling uncomfortable. Sorry. Once I find that, and I know that the value offering is there, then everything else is in place.
Yeah.
You know, then I don't have to worry about the regulations because I've done my due diligence. This is a legitimate company. I can make money just selling the product. I love the product, and then I can build a little team and make money from that. And possibly, for those unique few, I can build a massive team and make a lot of money.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you mentioned the severity around this industry, and I mean,
Oh, right, the starter kit's an investment. It doesn't actually cost you anything.
Is it government that says
Government gets involved.
So they say
in South Africa, it's the DTA, Department of Trade and Industries. In different countries, there's different
Report this guy to the DTA.
organizations who actually police the MLM industry.
Yeah. So, and they can if they sense or smell something schemy going on, they shut you down straight away.
Yeah.
And then they investigate you.
Yes.
And if they investigate you to find that everything is above board and it's your illegal MLM business, well, then they turn you back on. But at that point, that's 6 to 12 months down the line.
Well, your business is gone
It's
by
done. Your network's lost value, that it's gone. So the governing rules for something like MLM are very strict.
It's much stricter than almost any other industry.
So the regulation,
So dumb. So not true.
I mean, this comment is just, the more you speak and the more absurd it becomes. And there's even...
Well, it's not regulated. So if you are in, for example, insurance,
Yeah.
it's heavily regulated.
Yeah.
You need to have special licenses to be able to sell. You need to do all sorts of stuff in order
Exactly. More than you have to do for MLM. So how is MLM the most regulated?
to sell an insurance policy.
Yeah.
You need to, it's a highly regulated industry.
Yeah.
If you're in banking, that's a highly regulated industry.
Again, this is an excuse that you heard in my very first anti-MLM video about World Financial Group. Hartej's brother going, we're highly regulated business. Just because something is highly regulated doesn't mean crime goes on. The roads are highly regulated. There are speed cameras, there are police watching, there are traffic lights. The road is highly regulated. And you have to get a government license and pass testing in order to get your driver's license. Does that mean people still don't do the wrong thing when they're on the road? Does that mean people don't speed or don't drink and drive? Of course not. So when MLM people use this as a means of going, oh, well, you know, all that bad stuff that we get a bad name, that shouldn't hold up because we're very highly regulated. It doesn't matter. And I know Richard would probably hear me say that analogy of the bad stuff that happens on the road and say, well, those are the bad apples, so should we ban driving? Well, no, because 99.7% of people are not out there drunk driving and getting into car accidents. If 99.7% of people that got into a car were going to die or get into an accident, maybe then we would look at banning vehicles. But that's not reality. Again, these people don't live in reality. These people, like Richard, are in the sunken place.
So, you know, there are regulated industries out there. You know, the FAA, if you're in any kind of aviation, regulated to the moon and back. Multi-level marketing is treated like more of a traditional business. Because what you're doing is you're selling this product at a profit to a customer. It's a route to market. And it's not much different from setting it up in a store or a warehouse or an e-commerce platform or whatever. You're selling a product to a client for a profit.
MLM-splaining, LOL.
So
How can they not hear their own contradictions? Who knows?
what regulations should be in there?
I mean, Richard, probably because he's been doing it so long and he's just gone unchecked, and his nephew here because he just is kissing Richard's ass.
What they do, though, is they have laws governing it. So it's not regulated, but they are governing laws. And so they say you cannot have more than less than 70% of your customers being customers, that you can't only rely on recruiting. There must be a way for people to make money without recruiting a single person. There's a whole pile of rules. Breach those rules, and you do stand to go to jail. You know, so, and they don't stuff around there. Overseas, it's somewhere like the US, it's obviously a little bit harder to land up physically in jail doing this because the way their legal system works. But in South Africa,
Meek says, I looked it up, and apparently the only type of accounts that can't receive gifts are brand accounts that were made on YouTube a long time ago before everything went through Gmail. Convenient story, Meek.
much easier.
Yeah.
You know, you go to court, you don't have a jury.
Yeah.
A judge says you are doing something that you shouldn't be doing. 5 years, off you go, and we'll talk to you in 5 years' time.
Yeah.
Not true.
You know, here, don't screw around with it because you can get yourself into a lot of trouble.
Yeah. We don't want to visit any clients in jail.
No.
That's the last place.
Well, we don't take clients on who fundamentally, our first question is there value offering here? It's the first question. Second of all, if the person sells it, do they make commission? Can they make a living just selling the product?
Yeah.
No.
If we can't answer yes to those two questions, we don't take the client on in
Aristotle says, I just got a speeding ticket 2 days ago. I should have told the officer speeding is illegal, so you shouldn't give me a ticket. Exactly.
the very first place. Those two things have to be satisfied because it needs to be a legitimate business opportunity, not some sort of pyramid scam. What's next?
Okay.
How are we doing so far?
Number 8.
Number 8 already.
There we go. MLM businesses damage relationships.
Look, that is a real problem in our space. And I couldn't agree with this particular comment more.
Wow.
And I think one of the problems is that the companies encourage you to hit your family up.
Your inner circle.
Yeah. And you know something? Just imagine you start.
I'm pretty sure you can convert if you have an old brand account, you can like update it or change it to the newer kind of account in YouTube Studio.
Starting a restaurant. Now, you might invite your family to the restaurant, but I promise you, the people you care about and love the most, you get them down there, the meal is on the house. You don't hit them up to make them buy the meal from you so that you can keep your restaurant running. You are going to make your money from getting thousands of customers outside of your family. If you're trying to just make a living straight from your family.
Oh, that's okay, Richard. Wow. That's how he answers this. The reason, in Richard's view, why MLM destroys so many relationships is because those lazy bad apples are just trying to sell to their friends and family and not actually go out there and make real sales. That's the reason. Not because they're brainwashed. Not because they've been absolutely lied to and deceived by some slick-talking, confidence, snake oil salesman, con man like Richard, but because they tried to sell to their friends and family.
Well, that's crazy.
Sila, I wasn't driving, I was traveling. Yeah, that's another good thing to say to the cop. I wasn't driving, I was traveling.
So the first thing is, and this is for people who are joining MLM companies, stay away from your family. Go and find customers who aren't your family. If you don't know how to find customers who aren't your family, there's 1,000 books on prospecting. Just go and read some books on prospecting. This podcast.
Richard, physically in, mentally out. Yep. Yeah, stay away from your family. That's what they'll tell you. That's what they tell you in MLM, actually, not even in this context. They'll tell you that because your family are dream stealers and haters and they don't want to see you win. So you need to love them from a distance and they'll thank you one day.
Some prospecting. How to find a new client is not a difficult thing to do if you just a bit creative. I mean, I think I've told in one of our previous podcasts, I developed a mechanism to meet people because I didn't have any leads. When we started Acorn Kids, I mean, who do I know? I didn't know anybody who's going to sell bath products. So I would walk into a lift, and as the lift doors closed, I'd say, you're probably wondering why I called this meeting. And everybody.
So annoying. Richard, please tell me you didn't do that. That is so cringe, bro. That is so obnoxious. You would go into an elevator, and when the doors closed and you had a captive audience, you would pitch them? Fuck you.
And as the lift doors closed, I'd say, you're probably wondering why I called this meeting. And everybody would, ha, 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 why did you call the meeting? And I would say, and I'd have my business card with me, because I'm looking for part-time moms who are looking for at least full-time mommies who are looking for part-time jobs. If
you are a predator, Richard, but you already knew that.
If you know anybody who'd like to join Acorn Kids and help us market our bubble bath and bath range, please give them our card and get them to call me.
Right. So good.
Ding! Lift doors open, everybody walks out. It took me 30 seconds.
Everybody walks out and goes, fuck that guy.
Or not even, 20 seconds in the lift up to get these cards out to everybody. Now, did everybody call me? No. But I got some people. I had an advert on the back of every single Acorn Mom's card.
And pass, man. Okay. Here's some comments from Benjamin here. What you described does not exist. There is no MLM where you can make money mostly by sales in a small team. Bars. Are you sure they don't just look at you like you were insane and ignore you? Yeah, that's with this. Recruiting your own family is just one possible way to damage those relationships. The other is you losing the family savings or home. Yep.
That says become a full-time mom with a part-time business. Call and then the telephone number. And we generated a lot of business from that. So the idea is to get creative with your business. Love your product enough to want to share it with people, but
I fart in the elevator if someone starts MLM pitching. Hilarious.
Don't hit your freaking family up. Now that goes also to the companies. Don't teach your people to go after their family. Their family.
Don't teach your people to go after their family. Come on, guys. Trap strangers in an elevator instead.
friends should be sacrosanct. Somebody else should sell to
It's sacrosanct.
your family and friends.
But selling to single moms isn't.
You should never do
Yes.
it. Somebody else should be getting them into a room. Somebody else should be doing a presentation. Somebody else should, if you're in the business.
Dude, if we ever have like an in real life goon party, I'm gonna make sure that Kool-Aid is the beverage that we have available. Just to you know, have a little laugh about it.
Let somebody else deal with them. You focus on individuals outside of your family, because that comment there is so true.
Yeah.
I got a phone call from a guy. I haven't seen him since school days.
Yeah.
So like 80 years ago.
Hi, Richard. How you doing? It's so-and-so here. Wow. Blast from the past.
Yeah.
How are you doing? Chat for 5 minutes. The reason I'm calling you is I've just joined.
You're a psychopath if you don't stand silently in the elevator. The real talk though, I do love those TikToks where the elevator closes and one of those people who just has no sense of shame is like, stay silent if you want to hear my singing. And nobody says anything. And he goes, and I. Those are funny.
This company.
Fill in company name. And I was wondering if you were interested in sitting down with me and having a look at the business opportunity. I can't even begin to tell you how deflated I was.
Yeah.
I thought, stuff it.
Yeah.
You don't care about me. You're not even interested in me. What you want to do is get me into your network.
Yeah.
So you made a list of everybody you know and you're just hitting on them. So
Wow. He's cheesed at this guy he hasn't talked to in a long time. Doing the traditional, hey, how's it been? Long time no see. Let's go for coffee and I have a business opportunity for you. But the real creative thing to do, the real smart thing to do is trap strangers in an elevator. Imagine this guy's at the mall just riding the elevator all day. Up, down, up, down, up, down.
that particular comment, I agree with 100%. I think that whether you're a company or whether you're an individual, stay away from the family. Go out there. Teach your people how to prospect. Teach them how to find one person, how to turn that person into 5 people, how to turn that 5 people into 25 people.
Mr. Meeseeks.
In customer base, not in recruiting, customers.
Yeah.
You're a dickhead, Richard.
And if you know how to prospect properly, you're never short of people to see.
For sure. Yeah.
So, yeah.
Richard, this is not, and I also agree with this comment, but this is not only within the MLM space. I mean, if I look at something like insurance, we mentioned earlier, also mentioned office automation. I have a lot of friends that went into office automation as just out of varsity, new recruits, and the companies gave the instruction, just like Ryan, gave the instruction that this is what you can earn if you achieve. But the underlying idea here was actually, who do you know? Well, I know my friends and I know my family. So they got all these circles from all these different people, and that's how they built their businesses, successful businesses. But these guys were going to friends and family, and if something went wrong, it was a relationship ruined.
Exactly. So, yeah. So, I would say that no matter what business you have, if you've got a restaurant, let your family eat there for free.
Yeah.
Whatever your business is, don't screw with your family in this. Rather just go out and find customers who are buying your product because they like your product, not because they like you. If people feel obligated to buy from you, that doesn't leave anybody feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
So I would say that in so far on the list, this is the one truly legitimate argument that I would actually, in my business, I would mitigate against that by training the people not to tap into their personal network.
We agree with this, but there's a but. The but is training people.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that goes back, and we've had so many sessions on training.
Yeah.
You've got to teach the people how to prospect. That's the secret. Teach me how to prospect,
So I don't have to go.
and I will find the gold.
Yeah.
If all you do is teach me how to go to my family, how many family members can anybody?
Sure.
Well, if it's me, you got a lot, but
Yes.
those are the personal ones I created. But you go to your family, you run out of prospects in 10 minutes. Now what?
Yeah.
Now you don't have a business. Well,
Joey K says, I remember a guy in my high school made a list of all the girls ranked hottest to least hot and was just going down the list asking each one to dance. This is like the adult version of that. So fucking funny. Imagine sharing an apartment elevator with this guy, and every day he gets in the elevator while you're coming home from work and pitches to you. Wow.
Well, that's crazy. So if I don't know how to prospect, I literally don't have a business in 10 minutes. And I've irritated my family.
Yeah. Second last, penultimate, is MLM businesses are, by definition, pyramid schemes.
Correct. A Ponzi scheme with extra steps. Multi-level marketing, MLM, is a made-up term. A made-up term to describe what this is. And in my conference speech, I talked about how now that MLM, the term, people are becoming hip to that term, now they're changing it and calling it network marketing. or direct sales, or peer-to-peer marketing, social selling. They call it all these different things. It is all about deception. It is all about subterfuge. It is a pyramid scheme. That's it. And what is a pyramid scheme? It's a Ponzi scheme with extra steps.
Yes, agreed. But so is a retail store.
Here we go. Richard is going to explain why a retail store is a pyramid scheme.
What do you got a retail store? You got the chairman, you got the board of directors, you got your white collar workers, you got your blue collar workers, you got your customers. Pyramid.
You're a fucking idiot, Richard. If I've said it once, I've said it a billion times. In this corporate structure that he's describing, where you have a ever-reducing number of higher-ranked people as you go to the top, this is not a pyramid scheme. The people who are assistant managers did not become assistant manager by recruiting 3 cashiers so that then they got boosted up to assistant manager. And the person who was a manager did not become a manager by recruiting 3 assistant managers who each had 3 cashiers, and on and on and on. It is complete nonsense. These people are not in an endless chain recruiting scheme. That is what a pyramid scheme is. Every single time this happens, people like Richard, people in MLM, try to make this false equivalence comparison, apples to oranges analogy, and say that anything that has a hierarchical structure, anything where there is one person at the top and an ever-expanding number of people as you go down, that must be a pyramid scheme. So by that logic, my family is a pyramid scheme. When I went to my grandma's funeral last summer, I was witnessing a pyramid scheme. Why? Because my grandma had, 7 grandchildren. But my grandma was only one person. So there was my grandma and my grandpa, and then there was my parents, and then there was me and my siblings, which made my grandparents grandparents, and then my dad's brother and sister each had 2 kids, so there was 2 more kids, so there's 7 grandkids in total, which... And there was still only 1 grandma, but there was 7 grandkids. So that must be a pyramid too, because if you look at the structure of my family was a pyramid. This is so fucking stupid to say. Richard, shame on you. You are too old for this. For some kid, half your age, less than half your age, probably a third your age, to be educating you on this. But of course, I'm not educating you because you, me, and God already know the truth. You already know that this is a false equivalence. You already know that this is a flim-flam, poppycock, nonsense, jibber-jabber language game that you're playing right now. Things with a hierarchical structure are not inherently pyramid schemes. Just because they could be shaped on paper like a pyramid does not make them a pyramid scheme. So, again, this is their go-to excuse for trying to redefine what a pyramid scheme is, which is this endless chain recruitment model of people paying into it and then recruiting other people who pay into it. And that is the source of how you, of what your commission is, of what your rank is, of what bonuses you get. And instead, he focuses not on the actual doings of the company or of the business model, but instead just the arbitrary shape of traditional corporations or businesses based on the fact that there's maybe a CEO, and then there's 2 assistant directors, and then manager. Stupid, sunken place, nonsense.
Yes.
So is a church.
Yep.
You got your minister. And
The church is a pyramid scheme. Wow, so the church is a pyramid scheme. Okay.
You got your deacons, and then you got your congregations. Pyramid. If you have a look at every single organization on the planet, they're pyramids. So the issue is, like saying that this is a pyramid as if it's something bad is again ludicrous, because show me a business that isn't a pyramid.
A grown-ass man. I really hope Richard sees this. Or you know what would be even better is if his nephew here saw it. I don't know if he's actually his nephew, but if his partner here saw it and it clicked for one of them. Oh, well, for this guy. But of course it won't. Look at the just dead eyes. It's like the eyes of a shark. Just nothing going on in there.
They're all pyramids. And the thing is that the difference between this pyramid and something like what I consider an unethical pyramid, which is the big retail companies.
Yeah, no, that's unethical.
A person can join 40 years after the company started. A person could join Amway or Avon tomorrow And just through the sweat of their brow, not because they know anybody, not because they're buddies with the chairman's wife's daughter's son's.
Right. Now he's going to say MLM is way more fair than those unethical corporations because those all run on nepotism. You could join Mary Kay Avon tomorrow and by the sweat of your brow rise up, and that's the American dream. But in those other companies, if you start out as the janitor, you'll never become the CEO. This is, again, us versus them, thought stopping and fear mongering.
Whatever. Not because they've got any special education. Just by the sweat of their brow and their talent, raw talent, a person can in a very short...
Joey K, if everything in the world is a pyramid scheme, why is your pyramid scheme the only outlier in every way? Exactly. The food pyramid, oh yeah, that's a scheme. Yeah, there you go. And notice he didn't answer the question. The question was, is every MLM company inherently a pyramid scheme? That was the MLM hater comment. And instead of addressing it, Richard is just focusing on the one word, pyramid, and talking about the shape. He's not addressing the scheme part of it.
Time, a couple of years, rise to the pinnacle of whatever that business is capable of. If you join one of the big retailing companies as a packer in the warehouse, restocking the shelves, what are your chances of becoming the chairman? I'm telling you now, 0. So on the one side, yes, you're getting your tiny little financial handout every month to keep.
You know what? Here's another question for you. Every MLM company says that it's an unlimited income opportunity. It's the greatest compensation plan in the world. If that were true, why would there be the need for there to be multiple MLM companies? Why wouldn't there just be one MLM company? And we would all join that. It's an unlimited income potential, right?
Keep you in the packing department, restocking the shelves. But on the other side, you got 0 opportunity to rise through the ranks. In the MLM space.
That's actually not true. Also, you can get a promotion at your work. You can rise up by doing harder work. It might not happen, but it's way more likely than you making money in an MLM.
Yes, you joining at the bottom of the pyramid, and as long as the pyramid is structured ethically.
I challenge someone to do a mock McDonald's interview and say, I've heard this is a pyramid scheme, is it? Yeah, I'm going to actually do a little sketch, like a TikTok video, of if McDonald's was a pyramid scheme. And it's about how, the cashier didn't make enough money because he didn't sell enough Big Macs, and he would have made enough because he did sell enough Big Macs, but he didn't recruit enough people to get the commission for those Big Macs that he would have got if he had recruited 3 other cashiers, and on and on. Did he call the janitor's paycheck a handout? Yeah, I think he did. Let's go back.
Telling you now, 0. So on the one side, yes, you're getting your tiny little financial handout every.
Financial handout. Yeah, just free money. Those are. So is it a financial handout? Because a moment ago, at the beginning of this whole explanation that Richard's giving, he said these corporations are unethical pyramids. And yet now he's saying they give you a financial handout. That doesn't sound very unethical to me, Richard.
3 months to keep you in the packing department, restocking the shelves. But on the other side, you got 0 opportunity to rise through the ranks.
That's not true. Simply not true.
In the MLM space, yes, you're joining at the bottom of the pyramid, and as long as the pyramid is structured ethically, like you can make money just selling the product, and the product is a phenomenal product and everybody loves it, then what stops you from going all the way to the pinnacle to becoming the top rank in the business? Nothing.
Yeah.
So many things. So many things. The fact that you are at the bottom of the pyramid, saturation, the recruiting mandate, the extreme money transfer, the low commissions, the mental manipulation, the brainwashing. Need I continue? The hidden costs of tools, training, events. Need I go on?
Nothing stops you. It's your talent that stops you.
Yeah.
Do you want a burger or do you want 2 burger? Exactly. You might have to first comprehend that there are promotions other than CEO. Exactly. Dude, I myself, when I was 20 years old, was able to get promoted at my job. I worked at a casino. I was a waiter in the restaurant. There was 2 restaurants in the casino at that time. One was like a sports bar and one was fine dining. I worked in the one that was fine dining because I thought I could make more money. This didn't often happen, but I made sure that while I was working at that restaurant, and mind you, this is only over the course of 6 months. For 6 months, I worked at the restaurant. And while I was working at the restaurant, I very soon learned that there were some of the high rollers in the casino that would take a break from playing their table games and slot machines and come eat at the fine dining restaurant because they wanted steak and lobster and wine and whatever. And I knew who they were because the senior servers who had been working there like 10 years or more would flock to them. As soon as a high roller came in, one of the older servers would flock to them. Oh no, come, let me take care of you, my friend. Come sit down here. I know what you like exactly. That was how it was. And so it was very obvious to me who the high rollers were. So what I would do is, even though I wasn't maybe serving that table, I would make sure to go over, check on them, see if they needed anything, and just take little mental notes. What is that person, that guy's in here every day, because, he's a high roller, he's spending money. I ask the other servers, who is that guy? They tell me a whole story about him. Yeah, one time, 5 years ago, he came in here after winning a big winning big on the tables, and he tipped everyone in here $100. I go, okay, that's information for me. So I would write down when I saw him, what does he like to drink? I go over, introduce myself, for no reason other than I saw that I could leverage it somehow. So fast forward 6 months, I'm working at the restaurant. I'm not really making good money. The most money that I made was one night when the comedian Bill Burr was performing at the casino. And it was so busy, and I only made $200 in tips. All the older servers were making the big money because they would take the private dining rooms and the big parties where there was 10, 20 people at a table. And so the check would have an automatic, 18% tip, gratuity automatically. So they were the ones making the big money, and they had this little cartel of servers that had worked at the restaurant, some of them for 10 plus years, and they had, their own little group chat, and they were in cahoots with each other. So every time, it was super unfair. Every time one of the high rollers came in, those are the big tippers, they have the big bills, the older servers would flock to them. And they already had a rapport with them, so I couldn't really do anything. And they were the ones getting first dibs somehow on the private dining rooms, so they also made the most money on those. So some of the servers were making hundreds of dollars or $1,000 every week. I was making, the most I made in one night was $200. What I did was, I went on the site for the casino, and I saw the job postings, and I saw that there was a position available to be a slot host. And I didn't know what that was when I started working there, but I would periodically see one of these four people. There was four people in the casino in suits, and every night, a couple times a day, I would see them come in with a piece of paper and give it to one of the servers. And I realized that these people were the hosts for these high rollers. They would come bring in, hey, John spent $20,000 today. This is a little voucher for his meal or whatever, so we can keep him in the casino, give him a free meal. So I was like, I wonder what that job is paying, because that seems more of you're more hands-on with the high rollers. So I applied for the job, and in my application for the job, mind you, I've only worked at the restaurant 6 months. In my application for the job, I just name dropped. I know James Smith, I know John, whatever, all these high rollers. I've gotten to know these people. I would be a great fit for this job because I'm going to be dealing with high rollers, and I've been working at the fine dining restaurant for the past 6 months, so I already know a lot of them. It would already be a familiar face. I'm already familiar with the casino. You wouldn't have to spend too much time training me. Do. It was beautiful. The manager hit me back, said, the position's already been filled. Damn it. 1 week later, the manager of the casino hit me back, said, you know what, that previous guy that we hired, we recruited him for, I shouldn't say recruited, we chose him for the position because he used to be a dealer at table games. He was a card dealer for table games. And, that's a much less social thing than being a server at a restaurant where you're making jokes and whatever. So he was a dealer at table games. And also, if you're a dealer at table games, chances are a lot of the high rollers might not have a fond opinion of you, because if they've had bad luck with you, they might attach that. Whereas me, I was just giving them food. They had nothing, they would have no ill will towards me. So they said, that guy didn't work out. Do you still want the job? I said, yes, I still want the job. They said, okay, let's set up an interview, And I think I was actually at work when I got the email. I literally said, I called. I said, I'm actually here at the casino today. Could we do the interview right now? And she was like, oh no, we have to get the food and beverage manager and we have to, I said, oh, I saw him earlier. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. The same day I got the job. I was 20, the youngest person to ever have that job in the casino. And that was only after 6 months of working at the casino. So this is just my own personal anecdotal experience of working in an environment where there was 20 servers at a restaurant, but there was only 4 slot hosts or, VIP guest hosts. So was that a pyramid? And even still, I was able to get there. Was it nepotism? Was it because I was somebody's nephew? Not at all. But I did utilize what I knew, the relationships I had with the big gamblers. That's not nepotism. Some people do use nepotism. Some people are the nephew of the owner and they get a better position because of it by default. But you know what? Any of us would take that opportunity if we had it. Any of us would choose that if we had it, but that's not the reality for most people. So it is possible. It is absolutely possible. And mind you, this is when I was 20. This is one of my early jobs. So anyways, this is just me giving my own personal anecdotal story to combat Richard's misinformation here that you'll never rise up. You're always stuck. At least with MLM, you can go, the sky's the limit. Not true.
It's your talent. It's your work ethic and your talent. And maybe you don't have what it takes. And that's fine. But to say, oh, it's a pyramid, that's something bad, well, that's pathetic, as far as I'm concerned.
Right.
It's not a bad thing that it's a pyramid. It's
now address that it's a pyramid scheme.
It's the fact. Yeah. Hierarchies are good things. Yeah. The whole world is full of them.
Show me a business that's not a pyramid.
Yeah,
what a line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even if you look at hierarchies.
Oh, here we go. Every other business is not a pyramid, my friend. Every single other business is not a pyramid, because what makes it a pyramid scheme, not pyramid just based off the shape. Notice the original comment was pyramid scheme. Hey, Louise Mack, wow.
You're fucking poor.
Thank you.
Do you like me? I gotta get the bag.
Thank you.
Marco. Yeah. Marco. Fuck yeah, you stupid fucking asshole.
Thank you for that. Congrats to all the new members. Giselle, Tasha, Lauren, Kirsten. Oh, these are some good names. Justin Scoot, Julie M. Good names. Carrie S. Psylocke. Congratulations, you guys. And thank you again to A. Louise Mack. A. Louise Mack has been going crazy with the gifting recently, and I'm very grateful. A. Louise Mack holding up the stream on their shoulders like this. So thank you, A. Louise Mack. The original hater comment that they were responding to here said pyramid scheme. But now when they're talking, they're only talking about pyramid and they're leaving out the word scheme to only talk about the shape. And again, as Richard is about to do here, he's about to say, oh, anything that's hierarchical. In no other business, look at this fucking smug face. This is an emoji right here with him praying. In no other business that I can think of is your ability to advance based on your ability to recruit. And in no other business structure I can think of is your commission payout based on how many people you have under you or your bonus. Nowhere else can I think that is a thing.
Not a pyramid.
Yeah,
what a line.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, even...
Thank you, Panda. This is a prime example of working hard and setting goals to grow. It's definitely possible to grow within a company. Totally. And you know what? Not to suck my own dick here, but when I was working at the casino and I was taking the time to do all this shit, mind you, I only worked there 6 months. 6 months before, mind you, the most I had ever made in a single night at that restaurant was $200 in tips. So $200 in tips plus my hourly fee minus the tax deductions. It wasn't a lot. It wasn't great money. After 6 months, I transferred over to being a slot host, which was a salary. At the time, this is 2016, my starting salary was $40K a year. Not great, but I also got tips. And these weren't tips on food at a restaurant. These were tips from the highest of the high rollers, tipping me $20 because I went to the gift shop and got them a free packet of cigarettes, which didn't cost me anything, or gave them a voucher for a free meal, or signed the receipt to let them have a free drink. The most I made in a day in that job, hundreds of dollars, because all you would need is one person to have a good day, and I'm the guy going to deliver the hand pay. Oh, this guy won $20,000 on the slot machine. I have to go to the cash cage, walk with the security and the cage, attendants who count out the money, and I'm standing there to give them the cash, everybody gets a piece. Everybody gets a piece. So what was my 40K salary divided by 12 months? 33 a month, so divided by 4. So $833 a week in salary and tips. So I would say that my tips averaged out maybe, let's be conservative, and I'll just say $100 a day. So $100 a day times 30 days is $3,000 in a month. And then what was my salary? $40,000 divided by 12 months. So 3,333 was my salary in a month, and 3,000 was my tips. So 20 years old, making $6,300 a month after only 6 months of working at the restaurant. Not too fucking bad in my opinion. But there were servers that had worked at the restaurant 5 years, 8 years, who were still there. I was the newest person. I had the least advantage. I was the least experienced server. I knew the customers less good than everybody else. I never got to serve one of the private dining rooms. I never got to serve the tables that had the high rollers come in. I just did what I could. And it worked. So it is absolutely possible. It is absolutely possible. This whole fear-mongering, pessimism, oh, you can't go up in the job because it's the nephew of somebody else, nepotism, is absolute and utter fucking nonsense.
If you look at hierarchies throughout, even in the animal kingdom, there's hierarchies. Hierarchies are everywhere.
Yeah.
And so hierarchy is just a pyramid.
Right.
So that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so yes, it's a pyramid.
Yes. There we go.
Well done. Well spotted.
What is?
Even in the animal kingdom, there's hierarchy.
The animal kingdom is a pyramid scheme.
Hierarchies are everywhere.
Yeah.
And so hierarchy is just a pyramid.
Right.
So that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so yes, it's a pyramid.
Yes. There we go.
Well done.
So yes, it's a pyramid. Write it down. Send it to the FTC or whoever.
Well spotted. Outstanding.
Have you looked at other businesses? Okay.
Richard's definitely part of the rogues gallery.
Our final one, okay, is multi-level marketing businesses operate like cults.
Yes.
Look, I do understand that as a comment. Because if you see the big successful multi-level marketing companies, the guys are militant about their products.
Yeah.
They absolutely think their product and their business is the best thing on the planet.
Oh yeah, add him to the Scott and Peter fan fiction for sure.
And the reason for that's a couple of fold. Number one, if you take a look, let's take a look at a sort of a, let's.
Oh yeah, I guess Johnny, you know what, my math was a bit off because I didn't work 30 days in a month, but I just did that estimation because I was being conservative with my $100 a day tip estimate. I would say it averaged out to $100 a day over the 30 days. Some days I made $200 in tips. Some days I made $80. So I just called it $100 a day.
Let's take a traditional business for a moment. Let's take Tesla.
Trey Tino, work at the luxury casino.
Yeah.
I'm a complete huge fan of Tesla. They don't make them here in South Africa. They don't sell them in South Africa, so I can't own one. But I promise you, I'll drive an old skadonk, which I do, until the day that Tesla comes in there. And then...
LOL, money is a pyramid scheme. 5 pennies become one... It's not a dime. A dime is 10, but 5 pennies become a nickel. But I see what you mean.
I'm going out and buying a Tesla, for sure.
We know that.
Okay.
Neutrons and protons and photons are in a pyramid too.
Okay, so, but they're not here.
Yes.
But if you have a look at that, people who like Teslas, it's almost cult status how much they like them. They revere Elon Musk. That guy's like almost a god to some.
He's an
Okay, yeah, Tesla's a cult. Again, just deflecting.
He's an absolute icon. I watch the podcasts of his staff.
Yeah.
And like the guys are, when he walks into the room, it's like, wow, there's Elon. It's like, working for that company is like such a status symbol to be part of that company that it's just crazy. If you're part of SpaceX or you're part of Tesla or you're part of any of Elon's businesses, it's like, wow, this is the most epic thing on the planet. Now, that is as close to almost a religion as you can get. Look at Apple.
Yeah.
You talk to any Apple owner, it's a pain in the ass.
Again, this is not an answer. This is a deflection. He doesn't answer if they are a cult. He just points out a bunch of other things that he thinks are a cult. I've given the analogy before to explain how ridiculous this is, because it might sound logical, but don't be fooled. If you were in court and you were explaining to the judge, let's say you're there for a theft that you committed, and the judge says, well, it says here that you're accused of theft. You were arrested for theft. How do you plead? And imagine if instead of talking about your own case, or providing your alibi or, explaining. Instead, you just went, well, Your Honor, actually, I know another guy who stole, and he stole more than I stole. The judge would literally look at you like, okay, buddy, we're here to talk about you. This is your trial. That doesn't have anything to do with this right now. So this is a common tactic that I find MLM people use, is that when they're faced with a criticism that is valid, instead of addressing that criticism when it comes to them, they will simply point out other things that have the same detriments. But again, nothing has the same detriment as MLM. It's just things that sound clever. Oh, Apple is a cult. Apple is a cult. Really? Is Apple presenting itself as a business opportunity where you recruit three, who recruit three, who recruit three, and everybody has to buy an iPhone every month? No, it's not. It's not a pyramid scheme. Okay? It could be a cult. Sure, Tesla could be a cult. But we're talking about you. We're talking about this thing right now, Richard. We're talking about MLM. You've seen me debate people before where I say, don't you see the scam and 99% of people losing money? And they'll go, well, most people who go to university never end up actually working in the field that they paid the degree for, and they paid tens of thousands of dollars for their degree. So isn't that a scam? Sure, we could talk about that. But are you going to answer the thing I said? Well, 50% of marriages end up in divorce. Is marriage a scam? You know what? There are some valid criticisms of marriage and, how the system might not be set up in the best way and, not designed in a way to keep families together. But we're talking about you. And they'll never want to talk about them. They never want to look in the mirror.
They're like religious about that product. You can't talk to them about Windows. I mean, heaven's alive. And what's the guy who was headed up Apple? Steve Jobs. Yeah. I mean, that guy, again, massive, charismatic, iconic.
He's dead.
Leader of that company. Just like everybody's in awe of him. If he walks into the room, you just hope he doesn't even see you.
Yeah, let's report the animal kingdom to the FTC. I'll report the kangaroos. So funny.
Because he's just this. So, in the multi-level marketing space, the successful people in the business are those kind of people. They're charismatic and they're larger than life. And when they walk into a room, they're like magnets. And people revere them. And they've risen up the ranks. And it's not easy to do. The guys who get to the top of these networks, it is a tough job. And so when they get to the top, they've done things that everybody else has not been able to do.
But is wanting to.
And so that's the first thing that creates that image that this is cult-like. The second thing is that the people get trained as to why the products are amazing.
Oh, fuck, I'm in the Matrix? Wow. Richard's hacking me right now. How long was it like that? I wasn't paying attention. Oh, he's gone. He's a ghost. Wow. Maybe the cable came loose on the camera.
Now, if you know what makes a Tesla awesome, you found out how that Tesla works, you've driven in it. I've driven in that thing, and it's like the most amazing vehicle I've ever driven in my life. It's just incredible. I've driven
Marco has been AI the whole time, yeah.
In the Tesla, I've stroked the bodywork. I've had a look at how the seams.
I stroked the bodywork? Pause. What? What did you say?
I've driven in the Tesla. I've stroked the bodywork.
Here. I'm going to play that on normal speed, and I want somebody to clip that.
I've driven in the Tesla. I've stroked the bodywork. I've had a look at how the seams are done.
Somebody clip that soundbite. I've stroked the bodywork. That's going on the soundboard.
I've spent hours watching YouTube videos on the Tesla thing. Man, I think that product is the most amazing product in the world. I think it's just the most compelling in terms of motor cars. I don't think there's a more compelling car in the world. So do you see that in multi-level marketing, they spend the same amount of effort and
stroke the bodywork
time teaching me why these products are excellent. And because there's no price.
He's getting me bricked up right now. Richard, chill out, daddy.
Problems. They can build up an incredible amount of value because they don't have to cut the price, the quality.
I slowly unbuttoned the Tesla's dress. Yeah. I inspected the undercarriage after carefully stroking the bodywork. And then I plugged it in.
To create a value item. The way that they sell it is they make it extremely high quality and they sell it at a premium price. And they can sell it at a premium price because they educate the people about the product.
Yeah.
So now I've got this
rambling about nothing.
Product that I'm well educated on, that I believe in heart and soul. I'm in this organization where the top echelon of this business are earning really good money, where they're charismatic, where they're amazing leaders. When they walk into the room, they light up the room as they walk in. And so in a situation like that, it can be viewed and I think falsely so, as if this got a cult-like status.
Yeah.
The reality, though, is that any epic product
Right.
in an epic organization with epic leadership is going to have the same type of image attached to it.
Yeah.
LOL Beyond fan fiction about Richard and his Tesla.
So again, I think that's just a
Yeah.
BS argument, I think.
I hate a statement.
Yeah, it's one of those statements that feels like the person didn't give it any thought. They've taken this isolated little system, they've had a look at the companies and said, well, these oaks are far too committed, they're far too excited, they're far too whatever, they're far too, there's a beautiful Afrikaans word, paraat. They're far too excited about this product, there must be a cult. It's got like this cult state.
Mumbo, jumbo, flim flam, gobbledygook, poppycock. What are other words?
That's rubbish, absolute rubbish.
Yeah.
Guys go in there, they try and work their way up the business, they try and sell the products, they do everything in their power to make it work. The company is incentivizing the hell out of them. They're paying for trips overseas, they're recognizing their activities, and they're making sure that they feel good about what they're doing. They're training them, they're leading them, they're paying them massive commissions.
Whenever people are lying, I mean, this is another JCS psychology takeaway. When people are lying, they usually over-answer questions and go so deep into detail that has nothing to do with it, just to, I guess, distract you from the original question and sort of put a bunch of smoke and mirrors and fireworks up in front of your face to stop you from really getting to the heart of the question.
40% of the company's profits are being paid into commissions.
Yeah.
So they are really working extremely hard to create loyal IBOs and customers. And so that's seen as a cult. Well, I think that's nonsense.
Yeah.
Next one. How did we do
Well,
that?
that's it.
There's no more.
That's it. I think we've addressed all 10 of them.
Yeah.
I think we did a good job, Richard.
Yeehaw! It's bull wrangling time.
Don't tell me Richard just did a yeehaw. I'm going to play that in regular speed.
More.
That's it. I think we've addressed all 10 of them.
Yeah.
That is a drop. Somebody clip that.
I think we did a good job, Richard.
Well, I got quite heated up because when I think of this, it actually irritates the hell out of me that people can come up with these ridiculous arguments without really doing the actual work.
Yeah.
And I agree, 100% there are companies doing things that they shouldn't do.
Yeah.
And those companies need their feet held to the fire.
Yeah.
And the law needs
The irony, bro.
to be out there to protect the individual. But the one thing I'm going to say to everybody who joins multi-level marketing and everybody who's running MLM companies, if it sounds too good to be true, chances are it's too good to be true.
Yeah.
Funny, because everything you said in this video was too good to be true. That the animal kingdom is a pyramid and that regular corporations are unethical.
If the people are making wild claims, chances are they're lying.
Yeah.
The fundamentals of this business is I buy a product at a discount, I sell it at a profit, I make a profit.
No, it's not. Contradicting what he said earlier, those who make the most build the biggest teams. And if I was to debate Richard, I'm sure he'd come back and say, well, look at a real estate brokerage. Well, look at an insurance agency.
That's the fundamentals of this business. And if that is not in place, then steer away from it. That would be my kind of closing comment on this.
Brilliant, Richard.
Yeah, brilliant, Richard. Brilliant, Richard. Gives me the same energy as, yeah, great points, Peter. Back to you, Scott. Yeah, great points, Peter. Anyways, always stupid narco, the Marco Mucha Bear.
Thank you so much. We've actually...
Look at this guy's just kissing Richard's ass.
Kind of
Kissing Dick's ass.
closing
Yeah.
comment on this.
Brilliant, Richard. Thank you so much. We've actually...
Brilliant, Richard. Imagine they kiss now.
We're on the hour mark right now. So
What?
Done a good job.
Time flies when you're pulling shit out of your ass and lying your fucking face off.
These
Flies
things
like
just, I can't believe it. Every time we do one of these things, I think, are we going to be able to talk for a whole hour?
I just talk nonsense for so long that I'm amazed that I can keep it up.
Oh, no.
Wham!
And
Hour down the line.
We come up with content, subject contents like this. What are we going to talk about next week? Okay. Let's talk about this.
Yeah.
Here are the points. And because we are doing all this research on the industry all the time, we have all this experience with it within the space. So, I mean, it's a pleasure sitting and listening to you. I say this all the time. But thank you for your time and dedicating to it.
I just want to make one more comment before we're out there. So if anybody out there is in the space and you're a trainer, or you run a multi-level marketing company, or or you a specialist in any area of the MLM space, and you'd like to actually join us on our podcast to talk about what you do and how you can help us in the industry, we'd love to hear from you. Won't you give us a shout? You can just go onto our website, go onto the NetReady website, just leave your details on the NetReady website, and we'll get hold of you and definitely chat with you about having you on our system, on our podcast.
We'd love that. I mean, we're creating so much content around this industry, and the more great minds we have, the more creativity we have around this industry, it's only going to benefit.
The more of an echo chamber we create, the better it's going to be for us to sell our software.
So
I don't think Richard would ever debate me, because his bread and butter, his business is selling MLM software. And why is he going to debate me, somebody who knows that MLM equals pyramid scheme? I'd love to go on the podcast, but, you know, these things just, I can't believe it. Yeah, you're not the only one, bro. Wow. All right, well, Beyond has a new fan fiction, a spicy story about Richard, a Tesla, and an elevator in the Discord. So join the Discord. I'm putting the link in the chat. That's it for me. I will see you tomorrow, where we reveal the identity of Scott Johnson. And that's not a joke. I mean that.
Let's go.
We will see the identity of Scott Johnson. I'm very excited for you guys to see it. I was sent an entire investigation by one of my spies, and we'll be breaking that down tomorrow, and you will see the face of the man behind this voice that we have all wanted to know for so long. Appreciate you guys. Don't do drugs. Love y'all. Do I believe these people truly know the harm of MLM? Some of them are brainwashed. In the case of Richard, I believe he absolutely knows. All right, y'all. Peace. Later.